Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Mike Stanley.
Yeah.
It's definitely sticking.
The energy balancer.
Depends.
You're like yoga. Lane shooters.
Oh, fuck.
Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, y'all see you. I see Dustin.
What's all this for?
I can see it.
Yeah, man.
Chimney.
We live.
So subscribe. This is live.
All right, but we got 3 special guests with us
I'm
today.
already subscribed. I'm just not logged in.
Yeah.
Yep,
Introduce yourselves. Introduce yourselves. Y'all in the room.
Sorry, over here, like, you guys got to kind of...
Alright,
Yo, what up, yo? It's your
Like, a
boy,
little bit.
Chief Reckah.
Are we using these mics this week? Because this mic picks up the audio perfectly fine. Right?
No, it wasn't.
Who are you,
This
who are
sounded
you
better
brother?
still.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the audio from last week, so I edited it with the plain audio.
Okay.
Yo, you cutting through the introduction, my man.
I know.
You showing disrespect here.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. If you want me to get in on that.
Good props
Yeah,
still,
get
even
in
if
on
we
that.
don't, we got a good
All right,
prop.
but sorry, continue along the line, fellas.
No, I already said
you
yo,
already
man,
gave it.
my name's Chief Reckah, baby.
All right. Yo, you know what it is? It's your boy, Mike Gutz. Frig, man.
That's not me today.
Camera's gone down.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that was just CDs.
Oh, shit. Let me see these.
Oh, it was this one.
Corey.
Yo, man, right there. I'm looking at myself,
Everything.
man.
The world can't
Oh,
do
man, I'm telling you, yo, Facebook, Instagram picks up.
Retrograde.
It's like, yo,
This is
we're...
not
shipped
Friday
out
the
to-
Yeah,
13th.
man, it's crazy. We're like...
This is some Wednesday.
We're logging
the
out.
13th.
That shit went nuts, too. Maxed out and
Yeah,
shit.
it's we got
Is it the
you know
13th?
what? 13 brings a certain energy sometimes.
There you
no?
go.
But it's
Yeah,
actually
no
not a
kidding.
negative number.
There you
No,
I don't know
there's a double side to it.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Your boy Mike Gutz. Yeah, one half of, super group We Eat Beats, bitches. Yeah, we here. You know what I'm saying? Shouts to Turono Talks.
Hey.
Maloney, Wareham.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Big up the man.
man, we here. Big up the man them for sure.
Yo,
You want to
yo.
introduce yourself?
It's the man known as Specs, but the girls call me Specky. You don't know.
Hey.
We Beats, done know one half supergroup. Homie Mike Gutz in the building. Shout out to the man them, you know what I'm saying? Putting it down on Turono Talks, not Toronto. Toronto.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto Talks. You know what I'm saying? And let's get it in and get to the conversation. Thanks for having us.
Hey. All right, so do we jump right into the shit?
Y'all, might as
Feet
well.
Do we
First,
just
man.
splash right into the
2
river?
feet.
All right. So
Cleanse the soul?
let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
get to that point.
So-
Might as well.
You guys opened up for Tech 9 this weekend.
Dope show, by the way.
Yeah, very dope show.
Dope show,
Very
by the
dope
way.
Very dope show.
You guys, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see you guys. You know what I mean? I came through and I bumped into you guys, and you're like, oh shit. Went a bit earlier. I did see Ruby, who's an alumni of the show. He killed it. And the Tech 9 show overall was dope. But
Shout out to Ruby Red.
yeah, shout out to
Banging, yo,
Ruby.
straight.
Yeah,
I just want to say that before you guys got into it, but
Yeah, Ruby did his thing for sure. Shouts to Ruby. I actually said to Ruby like, yo, I'm super proud of dude, right? Because I remember like Ruby first starting out like in the whole scene and like getting his feet wet and I remember him coming to one of my first shows that I did with Peter Jackson. I think it was like I opened for like Jada or one of those bands, and Ruby came out to support. I had like I did a bus trip and he came out and supported. And, I remember Ruby's asking me, like, yo, how do you get on these shows? And, who do I have to talk to? Da-da-da-da-da. And, I said, yo, come, I'll introduce you to Peter Jackson, and, you do your thing. And then 2 Tuesdays later, fast forward, Ruby's doing shows, like, he got on a couple of my bills. He's, fucking with Raw Dog. And now this guy's like on everything, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I see the hustle, I see the move on this guy. So, and like his show is just polished each and every time it's elevated. And at the Tech show, he really did I was like blown away. I'm like, yo, this guy is actually on right now, man. Like he's doing his thing. So, shouts to Ruby Red, man. Like I'm extremely proud of dude right now what he's doing. So.
Make some noise for Ruby Red.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Big up those joints he brought.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The edibles.
Oh.
He's got the edibles, you get fucked up off the edibles, all the
shit.
time.
No, I've never been as hungover from all the fucking coke, any fucking drug I've ever done in my life. And I've done some fucking drugs. I've never had a fucking hangover like edibles, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that shit will fuck your whole life
Straight
up.
up.
You'd be like contemplating, like, oh man.
Yo, tell them when you text me the next day. This guy fucking sends me a text.
No, it's incriminating.
I got you.
But what I will say is I almost crashed a vehicle just because of my hangover.
Yeah,
I fell asleep.
that came before
And I don't have a
the
driver's
law.
license. I don't drive, so that's all we'll get into that.
You don't want to get caught with these new laws, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro,
you get peril off of these new laws,
things
man.
are serious.
Yeah.
Straight up, man. It's like they can catch you on anything, and it's like at any time be like, you're high and you're impaired, whatever, right? Like,
Shit's
it's
fucked up.
Like, it's messed up.
It's
You know
Orwellian.
anybody who's been pulled over for that shit yet and got like a weed test guy?
I personally do not.
It's not the pulling
I don't
over.
either.
Yo, the man them said they can follow you to the crib.
Yeah.
Knock on your door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
then ask you to do a test, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not
What
saying
the hell kind of like, yo,
Bro.
SS shit is
Bro,
that,
I don't
bro?
want
You know what I mean?
I don't want as much.
No, that's
people
fucked up.
You know anybody who's happened to that shit?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think they said that they could come to your crib with alcohol. They said
Yeah.
that was the thing. You know what I mean?
Either
They could
way,
come
Yeah,
to
within
your
like
crib.
2
That's
hours of
definitely-
when something's been
That's
reported.
definitely
That's
mad,
messed
mad,
up,
mad
man.
Police state
incriminating.
shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
messed up, man.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
I'm
like
telling
you can go to a club and then
Wait a minute.
do your thing,
Yeah.
and then somebody
Like,
be
you just
hating on
yelling in the crib.
yeah,
You
somebody
didn't
hating on
drink,
your
you just
shit.
cracked the beer,
Yeah.
yeah. The door knocks.
Yeah.
Yo, test time.
But what about this?
Going to the bin tonight, bro.
What the fuck?
But that's not even the
I'd be
worst
hella
part.
mad.
The worst part is if you know say you have suspicion is one thing, but if you know he's been drinking and you know he's drunk and he's out there driving, you're just following him. What if he gets into an accident right in front of you?
Yeah.
You didn't pull him over. You should have pulled him over.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
You made
Yeah,
the
but
guy
the
drive.
what if, but ifs laws are the ones that actually destroy freedom for
Hell
us.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Those are always the laws, like Patriot Act, shit like that, like things that, those are the types of laws where it's like, oh, it's for your safety. When they can confuse you with for your safety, a law is generally never good for you.
I'm not saying follow him at home. I'm just saying don't follow him at home. Stop him in the street because if he's drunk and he might not get home.
But that's the scary part about that law too, is that like you could go home and they have a 2-hour grace period. So like, let's say I'm designated driving all night.
Yeah.
I get to the crib, I want to get fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I slam like a 2-4 back in like an hour.
Yeah.
Not realistically, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like 12. And then fucking cops show up. Oh, you blew over. Yeah, no shit. I just drank a 12 pack. You know what I mean? But like now I have to prove that.
Yeah, now everything's mandatory too. It's not
Yeah.
giving no judgment.
Yeah, that's the messed up thing. It's like they can catch you on anything, right? And they'll just give you a ticket.
Yeah.
And it's like you still gotta go and fight it.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked up thing. It's like and the money is ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? But it's like it's a cash grab.
Yeah.
That's all it is. All this shit, all these laws, it's always a cash grab.
Yeah.
Right? Like every law that you look at, right? And every
A cash grab and a way to control people.
exactly. But when you put cases to the courts, like who's getting paid, who's getting money off of everything, right? Like off of each case, everyone's eating that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
doubt,
Like,
no.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like our freedoms are
Everyone's making
being made
money.
profitable. Like
That's the scary shit.
That's the shit, right?
That's the
we
scary
can
shit.
we can
Like
sell out
private-owned
everything.
prisons is the worst idea of anything I've
Sure.
ever heard on this planet. Like that's one of the most atrocious things, and people like just turn a blind eye to it. Like, oh yeah, I guess it's an investment. It's a company. Like what the fuck? Nah. Like the government should be running the fucking prison system, or else what the fuck are you doing? Like that doesn't make any fucking sense. All right, the government's gonna prosecute you, and then Joe Schmo over here, who had enough money to buy a prison and get a permit to open it, gets to run your shit. Like what?
Yeah.
Like tell me how that makes any fucking sense.
You have to pass their checks, when they come around.
That's just nuts, though. That's fucking
Every
nuts, though.
6 months, you gotta pass their checks and their tests. And
That's fucking nuts, though.
They gotta make that money, bro. Come on, they hustling, right?
Hey, man, no, that's just nuts, man.
That's what it is, man. It's they anteing up on you,
It's all
man.
on
That's
paper,
it.
right?
That's
Let us get in
It's all
that
about the
shit.
paper, right? They're just doing it right.
It is.
It is.
And it's like we're giving them, but
I'm
the
not
thing is like
happy
we're giving them
about
the freedoms to do it.
So
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's the
it's
crazy
like
shit.
we can't really. You could do something, but it's like, are you willing? How far are you willing to go with it? Right?
What's that in terms of like?
I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Oh, speaking of rebellion and
the
whatever,
only way that
It's
shit
just
will
a matter
ever
of
work
time,
is
though,
everyone
you know what I'm
does it.
saying?
straight, and that's
If
the
one
problem.
guy does it,
You just need one.
if one guy doesn't,
if you just need one to ruin everything, you know what I mean?
Like they'll plant like child pornography on your computer, and then just kick in the door. You have a whole ring.
Well, one thing I want to say regarding that is they can technically throw anything on your computer. The FBI investigated Michael Jackson for 10 years and doesn't have a shred of evidence in their tens of thousands of files. And not find nothing. You could have planted something on his hard drive in that time, like.
I haven't even watched that documentary, but from what
I haven't either. I've just garnered from what respective opinions have said about it.
Exactly. But
and everyone has the
I don't know,
same
man.
sentiment.
I always thought Michael was weird. I always thought
he is weird.
Maybe he did that shit. You know what I mean? Like, like everybody thought that because of how weird he was.
Everybody got
super weird.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he's strange.
Definitely. You had that,
but he had a lot of reasons to be weird.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But the thing is that like he went through the court system and he was found like not guilty, and when with the whole thing with the feds having the documents that they have, why would they want to protect Michael Jackson? Yeah. Why would they want to do all that? Wouldn't they want to do the opposite?
Yeah,
I don't think there's any sort of money that can really pay off the feds if they really want you that
not
bad.
Like that.
And a character like Michael Jackson, like they went after Bill Cosby.
If you had the feds on your side, you wouldn't have been settling these cases. If you had the feds on your side, you'd be Shook Knighting through that shit. Like, right? Fuck y'all.
Like, I feel like they're all part of that shit. Like,
yeah.
And then like, they do something wrong to cross the line, and then they're like, oh. You know what I'm saying? It's like in Training Day.
Yeah.
You know how Denzel just rolls on the man. The man's his brethren for like 30 years. They're running moves.
Yeah.
He's his mentor. And everything, right? And then he was just, he's just one day. Yeah, I gotta roll on his head.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. It's like one of those.
But that's the thing. It's like
we gotta take a moment out to make some noise for Mike Stanley falling asleep during the podcast.
Typical Mike Stanley. I know everybody has their own Mike Stanley sleeping story. I know everybody has.
I'm high as shit right now, man.
I know they have at least 2 or 3 stories from Mike Stanley.
Those 2 blunts are nice.
When it comes to the herb, like Mike knocks out quick, bro. Especially the edibles. The edibles fuck.
Yo,
what did you eat edibles?
Not today.
Oh shit.
Mike could be DJing your set and you see him. He's tune's done. Just
that's scary.
Play it next tune.
Have you ever fallen asleep DJ?
Yeah, of course.
You have?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Of course he has.
Oh yeah.
You don't know Mike Stanley.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't know Mike Stanley. I got no time thing for Mikey. What do you mean? It's a regular thing for Mike.
Makes my heart beat.
Yeah. That's just fucked up.
That's a regular thing.
Yeah. What's new?
Mike Stone's,
I was high, bro. That shit was nice.
You gotta get some sleep, bro. Before we start the show, Mike's like, oh shit, I'm not sleeping for the next 2 days. We're like,
4
what?
days.
You're like,
4
days.
A lot of work to do. A lot of parties. Double, triple bookings and shit.
That's crazy.
What's the St. Patrick's Day schedule look like?
I'm supposed to be at I'm supposed to be at Cabin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both days? Like Saturday and Sunday or just Sunday?
Sunday's the joint with Daniel. Your favorite
Daniel?
My favorite artist.
Shout out Daniel.
Shout out Daniel.
Shout out Daniel.
Or Quinn's favorite artist.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Wow. That's like archives. Yo, shout out to Daniel, yo.
Shout out to Quinn.
Shout out to Quinn.
Shout out to
Quincy Martin. Shout out to
Mr. Bell.
I didn't take the pressure off of myself.
You had to release some smoke.
Isn't Quinn down south?
Down south now?
I think so.
No, I talked to him today.
Is he? He's here?
He's here.
Oh,
Down
okay.
south soon.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Quinn going down south, man.
Yo, stop these talk, man. Stop these talk, bro. America.
With 3 Ks.
Stop that. 3 Ks. America.
Oh, man. But nah, man. Shout out to Tech 9 Show, man. Like Tech and Chris killed it. Yeah. What I liked, man, is you know what I'm saying, because I was chilling with you guys, we went out to smoke, and like I seen like a lot of white girls coming up to this guy here, coming up to Mike. You know what I'm saying, coming up to Mr. Gutz, and let me like, yo. Really dope fucking set. And you see pulling out the phone and showed them pictures and shit. I was like, oh, Mike must have fucking killed it, yo. You guys must have like destroyed it. So shout out you guys, man.
Listen, I just did my thing.
Crazy.
We did our thing. Like it was, the Tech 9 Show was dope. Real talk.
Can I just say like really quick though, like we were probably like the only black guys. And
Oh yeah,
we're all on the
yeah,
back.
yeah.
of the
We're the
table.
minority for damn sure, bro.
That's how it is,
Yeah,
man.
it's like crazy.
Oh my gosh!
I think I
man.
counted probably what, like 20,
And we
maybe
were all
30.
we were kind of all like huddled together at the back.
We were in a different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yo, tech brings out some different people, man.
Yeah,
Real
white
talk.
people love tech.
Yo,
man.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
He's like that underground secret.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
He's
Oh,
not even
yeah.
a secret though. He's
Yeah.
he's
I
like the
even see that.
cliche.
Yeah.
I saw him.
Atmosphere is the underground
rapper
secret.
Yeah,
has
that's
the
it.
Chucky doll.
Yeah.
I saw him with the Chucky doll.
It's like
You saw
mine's
him?
like
Yeah,
the cliche for like hip-hop kids who aren't white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or hip-hop,
Tech
like,
shows
you
are
know what I
always
mean?
like a
Yeah,
party.
Hip-hop-
It's like
kids who
always
are
like a big
hip-hop
jam.
who are white.
Yeah.
That's like the Tech Nine's
Yeah, it was
go-to.
packed. You
Like
was
any
like-
punk rocker kid I know who likes like one or two rap artists, Tech Nine is one of
Yeah,
them.
hell yeah.
Like
Yeah.
always.
Because it's
Every
like
single time.
almost rockish. It's like
Yeah,
it's
it's
that
like-
hard. Like it's like blood and fucking
yeah.
Like me, I personally can't really listen to Tech
Yeah.
Nine.
Yeah.
It's too much. Like yo,
And no disrespect, shout out Tech Nine, friend of the other show. Make some noise for Tech Nine.
I can't even clap.
I want to get.
I can't clap, but I'm no, not in a bad ways because how you said that shit. Is fucking
Yo, to me, as I was watching him, like, and like the audience or whatnot, he's really similar to Eminem. He just doesn't have like the same crowd that Eminem, or he has the same crowd, but he doesn't have the same amount of audience that Eminem has. But
He's
pretty
like
much
new
like,
Eminem, where like it's just
He
like a
predates
bunch of
Eminem.
words
He
that
predates
rap,
Eminem.
but it's not really like
he's
a
from
whole lot
Wareham.
of
He
real
predates Eminem.
substance.
He came up before him.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
the
mean-
biggest Tech Nine fan growing up, but I mean,
I like more honestly
his-
some of his older shit than I do his
Yeah,
new
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like
When
I'm
the
a Tal and like
oh, they killed it.
I'm a
They killed
player
it.
and
Yeah,
shit like
straight
that.
up.
okay, every.
But I mean, like from opening for him, and this is the second time actually that like I performed with Tech, and he kills it.
Yeah, he
kills
puts
it.
on a
He
good
kills
show.
it. He puts on a wicked show. Like
100%.
You know, and like he's a humble dude, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
like,
super
really,
cool
like,
dude, super cool dude.
Like
Yeah.
I remember watching him when he came down for Rock the Bells like years back.
Yeah, same. With
And,
Chris Calico and like when it was at the Molson Amphitheater.
Yeah,
yeah.
and Damian Marley. were
Yeah.
headliners. Yeah.
I got
So-
VIP passes for that. I remember meeting
So
some
I remember him
people and their
performing,
dicks.
and then afterwards he came out in the crowd and like was just chilling, right? Like and just hanging out with the crowd and like just like
Yeah,
you don't
he
really
was
see
cool.
that from a lot of artists,
Yeah.
right?
a lot of them just go back in the back. And
Yeah,
No,
like,
that's actually-
it's like oh yeah, pay your money
Time to
like
go
to
get
come
ripped
see
or
me.
some shit.
You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
when we went to that, I bought the VIP passes to like be backstage
Yeah.
and like meet whoever they had meet and greets with, right?
Yeah.
Back in that time. And fucking Tech Nine was the one artist I met in the crowd. I didn't meet
Yeah,
him
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
VIP
yeah,
badges.
yeah.
Like I met him like
Yeah.
he was just
Yeah.
chilling in the crowd.
Yeah.
When they mobbed him after his set, man.
He was cool.
Like he came off stage and he was like he said, a humble dude. He stood outside and there's a lineup of people from the exit of the stage. He had his 2 security there. It was like in the hallway. You could
Yeah.
go like further down to
By
where,
the
like, the
parlor
washroom
room.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you could go back to the stage.
Right,
and he was
right.
standing there. There was a line of people, bro.
Absolutely.
And he was just meeting them, signing the autographs, taking the pictures, like
Absolutely.
1, 2 words, like so
Yeah.
he connected with them. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's always good for an artist.
I was really impressed with Chris Calico, and I always am.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even fucking
Yeah,
lying.
yeah, yeah.
I have that
Yeah.
song Unstable
Wow.
still stuck in my head. Like I've been singing Unstable for the last few days. I still got that jam stuck in my head, man. So
No,
you know what
he
I'm saying?
killed
Like,
it, man. When he did the R. Kelly
The
thing.
R. Kelly.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
I was like,
Yo,
oh,
when
shit,
they
what
did
the
the
hell?
R. Kelly shit, that was R. Kelly.
R. Kelly?
R. Cali, yeah.
That was funny.
Oh,
That-
man,
that
they
was funny
ripping
still,
it, bro.
No, it was a good show though. It was a really good show. It was, a lot of people. The vibes was good. Like, performances were dope. Like, yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show.
But with all the
dope.
good, there was some bad.
Always with good, there's bad. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I mean, it just comes with the territory, right? And as an artist, and if you look at the other side of everything, like people don't realize how hard it is for us artists, such as myself, in the city trying to do these things and get on these shows, right? And perform and support the scene, right? But people don't see that side. So, like, it is always good with the bad, right? You got to take in, most of the good and just appreciate what you
a
had.
music thing.
Like when we stepped on the stage, right? We got on stage like early, right? We were one of the first acts that got on stage. Like I think there was one other act before us. And we're not used to performing like early because we like to go like either mid or later on shows, right? Just to get a vibe and see what's going on and whatever. But like when we got there and we got on stage and we seen the place was packed and it was rammed, that's like was like, wow, these guys came out and supported. And that's the difference between, like, you know, a Tech 9 show versus, I don't know, like a Havoc show or a Cormega show, where, you know, sometimes you don't see the same amount of people coming out. Or you
You're
don't
not seeing anybody.
Well, you know
so-
what?
Does
don't
Cormega not pack a place though? Like Cormega's got a cult
See, the
following.
thing is,
like Havoc, I can
opened
see.
we opened for Cormega a couple years ago, and it wasn't like that. I was
Say
at the
word,
Rock
eh?
Pile. Yeah,
Because
it
like when
wasn't that.
Master Ace came, he packed the house.
Yeah,
And like it was a small house. It was the up floor of the Alma combo, but I mean still, it,
Master
like
Ace
absolutely
is
packed.
Master Ace is the original Eminem voice. Nobody can.
Yeah.
Fucking down.
Eminem knows that voice is at Master Ace.
Hands down.
Make some noise for Master Ace. I'm supposed to link with him when I'm in Brooklyn.
Bars and shit was on point.
Hands down.
Some of
Hands
those
down.
shows though, like a Cormega show, or
And Marco Polo just got into Toronto today. Make some noise for Marco Polo. I'm hoping we can get him on the show
sometimes
next
don't
week.
actually get to the target market that those artists felt.
Yeah.
Like,
Megas
what
and
was
Man
the,
Dem,
what was the,
you know?
yeah, and
Megas
that-
for the Man
but the
Dem,
Man
bro,
Dem
like-
are not being, they don't even know those shows are happening.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No,
But
absolutely.
here's my
That's
question
so-
though:
so hard.
is it the artist's fault, or
No,
is
it's
it
not the artist's
or
fault.
is it the promoter?
It starts with the promoter.
It's the promoter.
Yeah, it starts with the
Like
promoter.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
right?
Everything starts with the
And
promoter,
it's like, that's
but
where it comes from. It's like if you're in the business of promoting, you gotta obviously appeal to the fan base, the mass,
Yeah.
right? Whether you know, like whether it's, you know, your like lane or your group of people that you're used to, you got to be able to promote what your brand is,
Yeah.
or else you're gonna have a dud.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
because-
saying?
And those guys don't deserve dud shows
no,
because you don't know their target market.
but here's the problem when it comes to shows like the Tech 9 show, like
Yeah.
these pay to play, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of the discussion of the pay to play thing,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people don't understand it, and a lot of artists don't understand it, and even the promoters, right? Like I get the promoter side, the business
Yeah.
side of it, right? Like for the people that don't know, like pay to play, it's like the whole concept of it is that usually promoters will, like, they'll have openers on a bill. You get a set amount of tickets. You give, you know, most of the cut to them, and you get like a $5, maybe even a $10 cut off of each ticket, right? Now the problem with that is the fact that when they're putting limitations on, if let's say like you don't sell a certain amount, you have to pay it out, or if you don't sell a certain amount, then you may not get to perform on stage, right?
Yeah,
Or you might have a limited set time,
Yeah.
like. What the fuck is that,
Yeah.
man? First of all, y'all should be fucking lucky that you have a street team of people, like
Yeah,
artists that are
even
going
going
out
out,
there,
yeah.
actually hustling and
Yeah.
selling your fucking tickets instead of, and making you sit on your ass
Yeah.
and just be, sitting
Yeah.
on computers and barking fucking
Yeah.
orders. You know what I mean?
I kind of, and it's fucked.
It's fucked, right? It's gotta be a respect. There's gotta be a
On both
mutual
sides.
respect on
But
both sides.
the problem
and
is
understand.
oversaturation in hip hop though, because you can just find someone else who will
But
do
that's
it.
that's on promoters too.
But you know what? That's
Because
that's
you know-
how the business is though now. And the only thing is, there's two ways you can go, right? Like there's artists who don't do pay to play, or promoters, certain ones. You can click up with them. You can try to build personal relationships, stuff like that, or you can do the pay to play. But when you do a pay to play, the thing is, you know what you're getting into, right? So it's like me as an artist, I won't take one unless I know I can fork up the bread without
Absolutely.
selling the ticket. So it's like,
Absolutely.
it's a shitty business, but
But people
you
need to-
sign on for what you're
But
doing. You
people
know
need
what
to
I mean?
understand the pay to play concept. Like it's not what it is, right? Where, look, I've been on a bill. Like for instance, we opened for Sean P. We opened for Sean P. the last Toronto show he did before he passed.
Make some noise for
Right?
Sean
Make some
P.
noise for Sean P. Make some noise for Sean P. Right? And we hosted the show and we sold tickets and all that, right? I sold like maybe close to 100 tickets for that event, right? There was a good crowd of people. And I made money off the show. I was supposed to sell like whatever, 30, 40, whatever the required was. But I made money off of that show from selling tickets, right?
Yeah.
And I was just, pounding the ground, handing out tickets, just posted on Facebook. Like Chumpy obviously had the buzz, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't pay to get on the show. I got paid to be on that show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I promoted. I didn't have to fork out any money. I didn't have to pay up front. I didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
Right? So, this whole concept of you thinking that, you have to pay up front to get these tickets. Sure. There's a lot of promoters that do that, and people need to be careful of that. But then there's a lot of promoters that, they may give it to you and say, here, sell these tickets. But there shouldn't be, when it comes to certain people, there shouldn't be stipulations on shit. Like, especially if like you have that relationship, especially
Yeah.
when you have that actual, you know,
And if you made
work.
money for them in
If
the
you've made
past.
money for them in the past, and you've
Yeah.
worked with them, and they know you. And on
Yeah.
top of that, if you're dope,
Yeah.
we're in an era right now where it's like you could be the wackest motherfucker, you could be a no-name motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right, just picked up the pen, you know, the other day, started rapping, made your first couple bars, you know, and you have a bunch of friends and money.
Yeah.
Go to one of these promoters, you pay your $2,000, whatever, boom, you're on the show. Yo, here's $2,000, right? And sell it to all their friends. They go there, they get a co-headlining slot. Like,
But realistically, throughout
what
hip
the fuck is
hop,
that, man?
throughout hip hop, historically though, if you had money, you could basically get on.
Remember the
You
thing
needed
about the
financial
Magic Hour,
backing.
on the Magic
So
Hour?
it's the same thing. It's just in a different way. It's the same people pay for views. It's
Bro,
it's all the same thing. But
Maloney's not wrong with
But
that.
everything
Yeah.
is a marketing thing right now too, right? So everything is all about marketing. That's
You
what
gotta-
all being an artist is nowadays. So the thing is, like, these shows, it's like back in the day, there was a lot more limited talent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and not everybody and their grandma was a rapper. Nowadays, you literally have anyone you can grab.
Yeah.
So it makes promoters lazy, but it's in a place we're in too. It's one of those things where it's like you have to, now in today's climate, most promoters, 90% of them aren't going out seeking dope talent. You have to show initiative to get on, to get these spots. You know what I mean? But like, salute to, like, you know, someone like Ruby Red. Like, everybody said, they're like, yo, last night he shone, or whatever, a couple nights ago, but like he was shining. Like, every review I've seen is like Ruby Red killed that shit. Like, you know, people really going in about that. But like, think about all these shows he's, you know, paid these like, you know what I mean? And so like, it's getting him on these stages, and now he's shining. You know what I mean? So really, it's like,
But here's the difference.
doing these
between
shows has
somebody
to be like a plan.
But
It
here's the
has to be
difference
like a
between somebody
plan.
like a Ruby Red and like Joe Nobody is that Ruby Red's dope.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm a promoter and I'm a guy that knows music, or I'm hearing music, if I take that fucking time to take a time out and sit and actually hear the guy before I'm going to put him on a show, then I'm going to hear that Ruby Red's dope.
And I
He has a
agree with
collection
you.
of shit.
And I agree
that's,
with you.
And that's the problem in hip hop in general. Like anybody can get on.
Well, that's the problem with some of the pay-to-play promoters, is that they don't actually really screen what they're
I'm
putting
saying.
on the bill.
And it's like, you know, you got people that have been grinding. Like, I've been grinding for a while. You know what I'm saying? And I've been doing my shit for a minute. And I put a post out where, you know, when I performed the other night, that I went on first or second, right? I feel like I proved my worth. And just because I didn't sell the same amount of tickets as somebody else, they can get a better time slot than me.
But see,
right?
that
shouldn't be
but
that shouldn't be
Especially
well-
when we have a track record with the
exactly. That shouldn't be a
well, see, that's a different thing. I can't speak on a personal
Right.
relationship, but on a promoter point of view, that's technically
That shouldn't be an
that's
initiative,
technically the
though.
fairness, though,
For-
because it'd be the one of two differences, right? Like, the example I guess I'd use is like when Fun Up, they did the Onyx show, right? And Bishop was on the bill. I'm sure he probably had to pay Bishop, right? And I think the difference is like, instead of demanding your worth up front, being like, yo, we'll open, but you got to pay us $200, instead you went the other route, and that puts you in the same class as everyone else who made the investment, right? So if these guys put the money in, I mean, I totally agree with you on a talent scale, but as, you know, someone who's trying to conduct business, and, you know, I can understand where that person's coming from, to be like, well, you know, these
Listen,
guys paid their full, like,
if you have a personal relationship, right? Like with me,
See,
in
that
my
I can't speak
situation,
on.
right? And this is where I was pissed off at Almeida for the whole thing, right? And the whole thing for me was that I like been grinding for Almeida for years. I've sold out shows for Almeida. I've made him good money. Maybe not Almeida himself, right? I'm not saying Almeida's out here caking and, you know, driving Benzes and, you know, all that shit. I'm saying, like, I hustled for this guy to get to have his show, right? I'm doing that. And as much as I know how much appreciation he's shown to me, at the same time, that's why I would feel like, you know, you would do me better than put me on one or two. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, like, I've always been 100 with Almeida. He's always done a lot of shit for me. And that was my whole thing. But the thing is that when you're going to come off brolic with me, and you're going to come off like where you're going to put these stipulations that, oh, yo, if you don't sell this amount, then, you know, I'm not putting you on. Or if you don't come at this time, I'm not putting you on. It's like, bro, who you talking to? Yeah. Like, I've been dealing with you proper from how long? And I've never steered you wrong. I've never done you dirty, right? There's times where it's like I'm out there just like I'll go the distance to sell a ticket for this guy. Not just necessarily for me, but for this guy to make sure he's putting on a show, right? I've never taken a handout from this guy ever. You would think, yo, to put me on a slot time like that like for me, that was like, yo, it was a disrespect for me. You know what I mean? And you know how I do it on stage. You know how I can get a crowd hype. I can make a crowd from a dead crowd and make them get to another level, right? We've been doing it. We've shown this guy our worth, right? But right, I've sold 50. We've sold 50 tickets for shows, and we still go up early.
What?
You know what I mean?
Nah, cool.
That's
bro.
nuts.
But is it that someone sold more?
No, like this is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I sold shows. We sold shows where it was like, I remember we did the Waka show.
Yeah.
And fucking we sold our tickets for that, and we sold them late because like Waka's a different avenue for us. We never really touch Waka Flocka. The guy sent me. He's like, yo, you want to get on Waka Flocka? And we're like, okay. Yeah. So like that was the first show that THC ever did, and we sold out. We sold out that show, right? Like we sold our tickets, you know, but.
So
we didn't get up on a prime time.
So
we got on we didn't get up on a prime time. But that's the thing. It's like I'm not asking to get on like right before the artist. Yeah. I'm not trying to be prima donna guy, right? But I'm saying I'm not trying to get up like first or second. Okay. And the building it was fortunate that the Tech 9 show where there was people there, right? Yeah. And there's like a few people that are there that are just gonna get like I'm only gonna get less of an experience because. Just because I didn't sell the same amount of tickets, that's bullshit. Like, and that's in my opinion. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like my track record speaks, right?
My thing is this now. Say what other people that do play, Peter Jackson or whatever. Does everybody do the same system? No, that's the thing. And you got to be as an artist understand what the whole concept of pay to play thing is, right? Where there's gonna be some promoters that are gonna say, oh, you got to pay up front, and you know, then sell your tickets. And that's what they'll say. There'll be some artists or there'll be some promoters where you'll have to sell your tickets, and if you don't sell your tickets, then you have to pay the rest of the balance. Yeah. Right? There's different types of styles, right? Yeah. Whatever. But then there's some guys that don't have to sell a damn thing or get a few. If they don't sell it, then they're still on, right? Yeah. That's just the relationship of promoter. Yeah. I'm not asking for handouts, right? I'm not asking to say, yo, put me on because I didn't sell tickets. Yeah. Like, fuck, like I'll support the shit. Yeah. Like I'll go out there and I'll hustle when you do it,
but when I do it, like don't shaft me, don't disrespect me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No, and it's like my blast that I put out today, like I wasn't even like a disrespect towards him per se, right? It was just the whole idea of the business of the pay to play, and I feel like this is where it's failing, and this is where I think the whole system needs to be, reestablished and looked at, because that's where it kind of breaks, where you have more talented artists if they're going up early or if they're not getting fully exposed as they should to make your show better, and you're only worrying about like ticket sales or numbers like that. That's where it's like you gotta really like look at the whole thing and see if this is right? Because I don't know. Like I said, I know my worth. I've done my shit.
Yeah. Well, I think a big part of the problem is, you know what I'm saying, in this city, we lack a hierarchy now. You know what I mean? Yeah. We don't have a hierarchy the way they did. So it's like when guys come through, like you kind of touched on earlier, it's not like it's mandatory this person's put on a show because they're the hottest dude in the city. Yeah. It's you're getting somebody being put on the show because they can bring out X, Y, Z. I think another part is, you know what I mean, and I've touched on this before here, is in Toronto in general, the black audience isn't the buying audience right now.
Right.
It's not that they're not aware of these shows.
Right. They're not aware of some of these shows.
No, a lot of these shows. Who's it? Dude from Troopers. Forgot his name. I know his name because I've done shows with him. Okay. I think it was Coogee Rapper. Some show came up. That's at one time. Right. And he was like,
I think I was on that show.
I didn't even know this. You know how many shows that certain black people talk? Yeah. I didn't know this was happening. Right. Because those promoters, unfortunately, don't have a pulse to the black community. Yeah. They don't interact with the black community in Toronto.
Well, fucked up thing is, and
that's why they're not coming out, because they don't know what's happening.
But topic though, man. Like straight, like look at. I hear you about the hierarchy part of it, and that could be a part of it too. Yeah. Right? I think it's some bad decision making on these promoters and stuff on who's organizing the show. And I'll tell you why. You were there, right, Chief? Mm-hmm. After people performed, wasn't there? I'm not saying the DJ can't spin out a few tunes. Yeah. But there was big segments where you had enough time that you're running music where you could have put an artist in.
Yeah.
All
Now,
kinds of shit,
now when you
yeah.
think about that, how come you're rushing artists to perform so early?
Yeah.
Even if we're still first
There's
or
big
second.
gap.
Yeah, you could have moved.
Even
I
if
think,
spread
listen,
it
I
out.
think a part of that is because
Could've spread
when you
it
have
out.
the Phoenix
Not
and you
even
have
split
it
it,
on
not
a
even split it, not
Sunday,
even split it,
you have a
but
curfew.
you're-
It's like having most an amphitheater. You have, and if you
But-
go overtime,
I totally
you're
understand
gonna
what
get fined,
I
right?
understand what you're
But he
saying.
had those
What I'm
gaps
saying
with
is,
the DJ.
what I'm saying is,
I feel you.
Yeah.
the DJ needs time to spin and all that's good stuff, right? Big shout out to DJ Chinos, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
Scarlett, you had a
I'm just
crazy
saying-
lineup.
I'm just-
You had like
exactly.
4 or 5
You had
before him.
breaks.
Yeah, man.
You had long breaks where, in the sense of, instead of rushing us to perform so early, run that break longer and put us on. And it's not even about.
Yeah.
It's not even about switch the order, right? It's about like maybe just run people more back to back as opposed to put long breaks in between each artist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The
I
race
feel
don't
you.
have to be that long.
Right?
I
And that's
feel
where
you.
I feel like the slave mentality comes into play, where it's like, yo, I'm not feeling that, man. It's like I'm out here on my own time hustling and selling these tickets. Yeah, I took the agreement. I know the whole pay to play scheme, right? Yeah, but I'm not like Joe Schmo. That's the thing that pissed me off with the whole Almeida thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
Like me and Almeida, like he's donated like fucking tickets for my son's fundraiser, right? I fucking done shows for him, whatever. Like it's a whatever.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like, I know this guy.
Yeah.
We should be on a level where it's like, yo, don't treat me where it's like I gotta be there at 7:45 or I'm not coming on.
Yeah.
And that's
You
where
find out 2 hours.
and I
before.
find out 2 hours before.
Should give you the heads up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Well, I
he think
mean-
me like that's the thing. It's like, yo, don't treat me like I'm one of these like other artists
Yeah.
out there and then call me friend after when I'm calling you out.
Yeah.
That's what pissed me
Yeah.
off.
Well,
You
you
know what I
gotta
mean?
understand, with like an artist like Tech Nine, it's gonna be a lot of stress. As far as how the show is run, he might not even have had control of how that show is run. Because I know when an artist like Tech Nine, like he's absolutely professional to a T. So I'm pretty sure his tour manager came in and said, "Listen, this is how things are going to make sure that at this specific time, this guy is going on." You know
Fair
what I mean?
enough.
So-
He could have still managed it in the same amount of time that he did. And still, I'm not asking to go before Real Wolf and Ruby Red. I know
I get that, I
already
get that.
those mans are the you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to expect that Real Wolf went out and sold their 50 tickets. I'm not going to expect Ruby Red that he went out and sold their 50 tickets. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that I'm not out there saying, yo, I should be on before Tech 9. That's not what I'm saying.
So just
But I'm
respect.
saying I shouldn't be on at 7:45,
Yeah.
and I'm getting a call at like 6. And it's like, yo, how many tickets did you sell or whatever? And it's like,
And that determines.
and then I'm like,
performance,
yeah, I could only
yeah,
sell
yeah.
X amount. Okay, well, yeah, you're going on at 7:45.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, and I said,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can get there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I can get there on time, whatever. Oh, if you don't get there, then you're not going
It's
on.
almost like threats.
Are you serious?
That definitely
Yeah.
makes it hard to
Yeah.
do.
So that's why I'm saying it's
I
like,
feel
yo,
you on that.
right? And I would have kept it like I'm not like I would have kept it pro and would have been whatever. But like, yo, the fact is I said that message today on Instagram. I never dissed them. I never called them
Yeah.
out. Right? Even when other people came out and said their piece, I didn't even comment.
Yeah.
People came out and they said their own piece, their
Yeah,
own run-ins
yeah,
with
they
Rock
said-
Pile.
yeah, yeah.
All right? I have no issue with Rock Pile. I have no issue. I've done business with them how many times? With Steve, right? Matt, all those guys. I've done business with them, right? But the problem is that when you took it so personal, right? And you know my problem, you know my situation. You took it so personal and got all upset about it and run up in my inbox and talking shit.
Wow. And
Bro.
that was after you put out the post?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I will. You know, say at the end of the day, like a big part of this problem is the fact that we are doing business with people who are kind of friends, and sometimes business gets personal, and it's a little hard to deal with friendship.
It's bullshit,
when
bro.
It's kind of personal.
That's the problem.
That
It's
ain't
bullshit.
business.
That ain't business, bro.
That's how you
I'm
get it.
not on that tip, bro. Like, don't come disrespecting me, man. Because that's the problem. Artists right now, they need to take like power of their brand. They need to stop letting these promoters dictate if they're hot or not, and they gotta stop letting these like radio stations and these blog sites and shit distinguish what's hot or not. Yo, they need to take ownership of their own shit. You can do it. Like, look at y'all have your own radio station. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go to fucking Flow or any other station to do your shit. You have your own brand, right?
Yeah.
Like how many artists are taking their own brand right now and doing their things? You got to give them respect. But
don't have that mind state that, if I can't get on and perform for Tech 9 for 15 fucking minutes, your life is done. Or I gotta sell, I gotta give $2,000 out of my own fucking pocket and give to this promoter just so I can get on for 15 minutes. Right. Know your fucking worth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the problem. Like, you gotta know your worth. You gotta know that, like, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you do, you're gonna be valuable to the game, and that's what the work that you put in, right? You got to do these shows. You got to put out, invest in your brand, right? You might have to put on a show here and there, but you got to know that without you, when you do these big shows, without you and your fan base, it makes it harder for these shows to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Speaking on that, adding to that, fan base, right?
I was gonna touch on that, but go ahead.
Friends and fans. So you put us on so early, and you tell us the same day.
Doesn't give you
Who do you sell your tickets to?
Yeah.
Who do you sell your tickets to? Your friends and fans, right?
Right.
Friends and fans can't even make it there at that time because they don't even. You can't even tell them when they sold tickets
Enough
to
time
them.
to let them know
No,
when you're gonna be there.
that's so early, right?
Yeah.
You're basically after the doors open, you come and take a piss, and we're gonna be on stage, guys.
Well, I think this harpens down to a
know?
big part of the problem, a big part of support is people are coming to shows. They're only coming there to support the artists they bought the tickets from. They're not coming there to support anyone else on the show. So instead of saying, yo, I'm going out, it's Sunday night, I'm going to a show, I'm going for the whole night, it's like, I'm going to go at 10:30
and that's the other problem.
That's a mentality that Toronto has.
Well, it's because there's no scene right now. That's the problem.
So that's
going on at 7:45.
I don't know. I've only lived here 6 years.
I'll break it down another day, but
Listen,
it's no different than it was before.
No.
Word.
Listen, though, that's another subject in itself when it comes into the people. That's another, I'm gonna touch on that though for a second.
Yeah.
But back to your question.
Yeah.
What was your question? Ask this guy. Ask me right now.
Like, I just got a weed.
You asked me about fucking.
Oh, did he ask you prior to the day? Like, did he tell you the
all right, so let me tell you something.
And all that?
So let me tell you something, right? Here's the thing, right?
Or was it like a 2 hour?
Usually when I deal with dude, listen, when I deal with dude,
Yeah.
right? He puts me on the show, says, yo, you gotta sell this amount of tickets, X, Y, Z, right? I really need you to get on that, right? I said, cool, right? So he even said, like, yo, like, are you sure? Are you sure you can do this? Obviously, if you're confident enough and you want to do this, then I'm gonna try my best. Tech 9 in my inner circle of people, not the most marketable, not the most selling point, but because he's a name, I can put a blast cell, I'm sure I can make a sales off of it, right? Whatever. So a few weeks before that, updated him, whatever, what was going on. And again, it was how I was addressed. It was on that brolic, like, yo, I showed him up front, say, I'm going to see, whatever. And then that's when he's like, yo, I need you to put this amount of tickets on I need you to sell this amount of tickets or else, like, I can't have you on the show.
And you said that when?
Like a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, you must have been stressing.
See, I get that piece.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
When promoters get like that, they're like, oh, where's my ticket?
They know
Yeah.
And here's the problem with
on the show,
here's the
right?
problem with and here's the problem with here's the problem. Listen, here's the problem with the whole ticket thing, right?
Yeah.
You hear about okay, so how many artists were on the bill?
Like
5?
Yeah.
So let's say each artist has 50 tickets each, right? Like, there's 250 tickets right there, right? That each artist have. The tickets go on sale like maybe a week before the artists will get their tickets, right?
Yeah.
Like at least because they'll go on sale, they'll go online on sale, right? And if they're blasting the online site, right? Sometimes people will just go online and buy their tickets.
Because
right?
easier nowadays.
Now, like let's say you have now Play the Record, right? At core downtown. People go in there, they fucking have tickets out there, whatever, right? Yeah. So now you have to rely on your 50 friends or your 50 peoples that come out. And like you said, if you have people that, are not supportive enough to come out on a Sunday night and knowing an hour before you're going to be performing at 7:45, it's a hard sell in a sense, right? Where it's like it's a different kind of grind, right? You got to be on that type of grind. But I mean, so he showed me. You gotta, have 20, whatever.
But that was still like 2 weeks.
That was 2 weeks out. Like maybe that was, it was like 2 weeks before, right? Cool, but again, it was like, it was a brolic thing of how he dealt with the situation. I don't really want to go into too many specific details, but let me just say this: the date, it was just the way I was talked to and dealt with, and I left it alone. The thing is like it's not the first time he's done this, and I left it alone because I know dude can get stressed, and I know situation or whatever, right? I get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's the way I was handled that day. and how it was handled now today with him. And it's like, bro, you say that you're up in my fucking inbox saying, yo, I thought we were friends. Nah. Calling me a bitch, all this shit. Right?
Are you said that's friends and calling
so
me
that's
a
why I
bitch?
said. That's why I say, yo.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm coming to fucking here and we're gonna debate. I said, come here.
Yeah.
I said, come here.
So
We'll
what
debate,
happened to
bro.
him? What happened to him now?
I say, bring the same energy. Come here.
So what happened?
But he's
to him?
not here.
Why is he not here?
I don't know why
I
he's
don't know.
not
He
here.
said he's got some stuff to film.
Oh, whoa, yo.
Mike Stanley seems so concerned. You're like,
Listen,
why is he not here?
No, I like.
Where you at?
I said, bring the same energy. I said, what is there to debate? What did I say?
Yeah.
Mike woke
What did
up
I
ready
say?
for
He's like,
smoke.
oh, I'm talking. He's like, oh, you're talking about my pockets. I didn't make it. I didn't make money. I make less.
Oh, I
than
love when
$100
promoters
worker,
say they don't
blah,
make
blah,
money.
Blah. That's bullshit. I'm like,
Trust
bro,
me.
who's talking about your pockets, bro? All I said was I should
Man,
have gone on
I've heard
earlier.
that
I mean,
about
should have
it.
gone on later. I don't give a shit about your pockets. I don't care about the
You guys
business.
know this shit better than me, bro.
Right? So that's
Don't
what I'm
let me
saying.
start
Music
it.
shit
And then
is
he's carrying on like, yo,
Yo, Stanley's about to
tonight,
get to
talking
it.
about he's coming here. I said, all right.
Yeah.
I said, come with the same energy though. The same energy you're in my. I got receipts. Come with the same fucking energy
So we
as you're
gotta,
coming
so
with.
we have to tell you do a part 2 of this because you didn't.
Bro,
do it.
Yeah.
listen,
Nah,
listen.
man.
Yo, make some noise
Listen.
from Mike.
Listen.
Yeah, but nah,
I'm
like,
not coming. Listen.
Bring that energy, show.
At the end of the fucking day, listen. As an artist, as a man, I was insulted. I felt like I was insulted, and today was the last straw for me. And it's like I was only coming on a tip where I'm saying, like, we put on for our city.
Yeah,
We've opened doors. Like, ask Ruby Red, ask Jay Don. Like, we were like one of the first like avenues that these guys went through to get to where they're at right now. Right? And both of them are very humble in knowing that and saying that and admitting that. And I appreciate everything they do. I know me and Jay Don have had our thing, but I appreciate like what he's like done and put on for the city. I appreciate that. Right? And I respect that kid.
fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. But at the end of the day, I wasn't insulting Rock. I wasn't insulting him. I'm just
laughing. I don't even know.
I'm just showing like, yo, I should have been put on later. And when you look at the list, Stoney, everyone's here in the scene, whatever. Did you know those artists?
Never heard of them.
Never heard of those mans, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of these mans? Have you seen when you saw that list?
I heard of at least 4 of them, 4 to 5 people on your list.
But to play
like,
devil's advocate, isn't
You know what?
the people who put
I'm
in
not sure- I'm
the
not
people
saying
who
that-
put
My
in
little
work
guy, like,
and
with
lay
the
a
little
foundation
dudes
never
that
get the
open
respect
mic.
though.
Yeah.
And he's
Cool
like,
Herc
I
never got a
trying to
royalty check.
support my thing and thing.
But he
I'm not
never
trying to
wrote a
diss,
song.
right?
No, but
It's not a
He
diss.
created
He produced
hip-hop.
a beat.
No, but I'm gonna say, yo,
No, he just
from
played-
that
He
little
living with his
dude,
teeth all
like,
messed up in the
I'm
Bronx
happy-
still, fam.
I'm happy for the little guy that he has that opportunity to come and do, but.
I'm
you
not-
know what
look,
saying?
look,
And
it's
he
not
did,
even a-
He was grinding them tickets up. Boy, I'm telling you, 3 months ago,
that?
the little his name's Trisek. Shout out to
one of the guys
Trisek.
over
You
there.
know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
months ago he
Bro,
was grinding them?
Bro, the man told him months ago, yo, if you sell more tickets, you're gonna get a better spot.
Yeah.
Right?
And I know the flex.
And that's the original.
I know the flex, and I know that's what he's showing them. So look, I'm not even saying like, you know, those guys. I don't respect those guys and what they're doing. Right? That's cool. It's whatever. It's like I'm saying you could have still managed the fucking show in the same time slot and put us up at like when did Tech go on? 10:30, 11? 11?
No,
11?
you went on at like 10:30.
10:30ish, right?
10:30.
Yeah.
Yo,
because
fam,
you're on stage
We could have
for
gone
another
on
hour.
at like 9 o'clock ish.
They should have put. They should
And could have gave us and gave everyone the same set times.
Yeah.
There was a gap between Real Wolf and the other performer.
Half an hour, bro.
There was a gap.
Yeah.
It was
You
a
guys were
good
there.
gap.
You guys
Good
were there.
gap.
You guys were there.
Yeah.
And we were only on for like 20
So
minutes.
you don't have to even. You don't even
Listen,
have to get,
I'm not trying to say, yo, this guy shouldn't get on. This
he had
guy,
20, 30
this guy's shit. It's
on
not
the
even
panel,
about that.
Were there
I
any
don't know them.
no-show artists?
It's not that
I don't know about that.
It's not that I'm dissing and saying I don't know them.
Yeah.
I never listened to their.
You're just saying.
I'm just saying,
By
bro.
reputation.
Were they even
Flyers
dope? Were they
wise,
dope?
shows wise, have you seen?
I don't
these
even
things?
think I don't even remember them because they were like I think they were like on after us or some shit like that.
Who? Me? I was on
there's
the
this
set.
man
I got
here.
to perform too.
Yeah, I saw him.
This
He
man
was
here,
performing, yeah.
Tristan.
See what I'm saying?
And I went out- I think I went out-
I was on his set.
Well, did you go on after us?
Yeah. I got to watch you guys. I
Okay,
sat there.
because I went
thought it was
outside
a
for.
dope show.
I
That's
went.
why
I
was
went
like,
on.
Yo,
yeah.
I saw you come off the
Yeah.
stage. I was like, "Come here, bro." I was like, "Yo, good show, brother."
I didn't
You
even
taught
know.
me a 1-2.
I didn't even know that you're on. I just went to. I went outside, had a
yeah.
smoke, And I was just, I was hot and shit, but
I got to open up for Tech too.
Make some noise.
yeah, it's
Regardless, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of all that, you know what I'm saying? It was a dope show.
Yeah.
You guys are definitely doing your thing.
Yo,
The
Dustin,
fact of the matter is,
Mike,
you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like you touched on, it's about knowing your worth. It's about creating brands. Here in Toronto, you know, we got to create brand. That's why we're trying to do this. And we got to kind of like build up this shit ourselves. Because we don't have, like, we got flowing, we got a few things, but we don't have it popping the way we should have it popping.
How we used to have
how
it.
we used to. We're not making money. So, you know what I'm saying? We just got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, get that fucking paper, man.
But going back to
everyone has to stop hating each other.
No,
and
what
has
we have
actually
to do.
support
What we have to do. Yes, that's
support a
one.
market.
That's one.
The problem is because you might even think a rapper's nice and you'd be like, fuck him.
No, yes, that's one.
you think you're better.
One of the things we need.
Yeah.
One of the things we need. Hold up. One of the things we need right now is less rappers and more people like Saul Guy.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know
Make
who
some noise
Saul
for
Guy
that.
is, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was somebody who really got, you know, Rascals and Chalks and a lot of these guys popping, you know what I'm saying? K9, a lot of these guys. But we need people like this.
Yeah.
What we need is networking. We need solid networking. As I touched on earlier, and I don't want it to be like a racing at all, but this is being, in my opinion, this is what's happening in hip-hop in Canada. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but the majority of the shows that I go to, big or small, are predominantly white populated. That's cool. We're getting more predominantly white artists. Okay, that's absolutely cool. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have that support system at this particular time for the artists, other than a handful of artists who aren't even doing these shows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is the same way that a lot of these guys go and support Snack, and they go and support, you know, Merciless, and they support these dudes.
Mad
We have to
Child.
figure out how we could do that, even as Toronto artists, regardless if you're black or white, but how can we get
No,
those
do you know
type
what
of
it
artists?
is?
How can,
It's
you know what I'm saying?
Ontarians as a whole. It's not even just a Toronto thing. Like, people from the scene here just think they are better than putting in the rawest effort of groundwork. Like, this is why somebody like Robbie G flourishes, because he fucking... Because he goes in and puts in the groundwork. He travels around the country.
Hold on. I'm only going to say based on what I thought I heard years ago, and I'm not sure if it's 100% true, and it's not a disrespect to Robbie G.
Please say this. What you can say.
Groundwork is one thing, and a lot of people have backing. I don't know what kind of backing he had, but...
Oh, backing helps, but
but
still, a lot of people aren't willing. But a lot of people still aren't willing because of their pride to go rock shows with 5 people on the East Coast of Canada or the West Coast and be eating out money to put shows on.
Hold on. I know you want to
invest.
And then those people come back the following year. That's the crazy shit.
When you toured with Robbie, what year was it?
That was last year.
Okay. Now, when did you meet Robbie again?
Who knows, man?
Okay. We go back to our...
Probably, I'd say like 11, 12.
And this is the RM...
10, 11, even before that.
Right?
You go back 10, 11 years or when you were that age?
2010.
No, 2010.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like, what? When you're 12? I'm like...
This is the thing, though. How did he and Essence link up?
I think it was just through the Guelph scene.
Yeah.
When
And
we
he
were
started
talking
really in Guelph.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He wasn't doing like what you were doing. You were saying
No.
prior to. But this is why I need Essence on the phone right now. I want to link her about it right now. But you call it but.
That's your friend.
And I'm not like I said, I can't say 100%. It's what I heard. But everyone has a certain set of backing. So you can do that groundwork when you have that backing.
The thing is,
Yeah.
the thing is though, you know what it is with
about
Robbie.
willing, it's about having.
You know what it is with Robbie
Yes,
G.
but-
Yeah, if you don't have, you can't.
Here's the
go
problem.
well.
That is true.
Here's the difference between.
I can say, grinded his ass off to a certain degree. But again, I don't know how deep.
Okay, so here's the difference between
a
Robbie G.
Well, that's why a lot of corny rappers get popular and get opportunities. And I'm not going to point my finger at anyone specifically, but there are corny rappers that have money behind them that get opportunities a lot of other people.
But here's the difference between a Robbie
G
G and a J Don and like your urban like our promoter in Toronto, right? Is No, like I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying though. You look at Robbie G, right? Like Guelph is like one small little
insular
town,
thing,
right? Like it's
a small pond.
Yeah, it's a small pond, and he's a big fish there. Where he's there bringing all these big name artists. He has the money to do it. He has like he got big off of IRM. Like that was how he got his first buzz. Like when we were rolling, me and Stoney and.
I know he was doing shit before that, but that's why
that's where he really. That's where he really like took off, right? Because that's when he like connected with like the Peter Jacksons and connected with like these other promoters, and then he himself like knew how to like promote shows and do shows himself and brand it, and like kind of just took off from there, right? Like he just, I'll give him credit. He was a student. He took notes and he just blew up in his small pond, and you remember, like, corny rappers can get on with just any kind of promotion, really, right? And in Guelph, there's a lot of just guys that were there that just want to get on. They weren't the best, right? But they got on because Robbie was the avenue. Robbie's the only promoter, really, that was consistently doing shows, right? I mean, like, you had, like, Static and...
Oh, he runs the Guelph scene. Like,
yeah.
I remember when I was doing my tour in 2015, and I reached out to 2, maybe 3 venues, and every single one of them told me I had to book it through Robbie G. And Robbie G, that's my dude. Shout out to Robbie. But he wouldn't book it at the time because he had another show coming that month.
Do you know Static from Guelph?
Static, no.
No? So Static was the other promoter in Guelph, the other, like, hip-hop link to get out there in Guelph. And him and Robbie had a fallout, and Robbie then like was basically the man to go through Guelph, right? But the thing is that he was able to monopolize that because it's Guelph, right? You're bringing out Sean Paul, you're bringing out all these big artists coming out to Guelph, and you're the main connection.
It's kind of like how Peter Jackson was in Durham.
Exactly.
Just like Peter Jackson in Durham.
And then he was able to
just like
branch
J
out.
Don in
now Robbie is branching out now. Now he's taking over like
Beeford, any of these smaller towns. He was able to reach out to his fan base, that core fan base.
But see, that's what Robbie's doing though. He's taking over other markets now. Like he's in Sault
Ste.
Marie, Saint Marie,
but he's hitting up those same markets.
He's hitting up the same markets, but he's building a solid, like almost what he did in Guelph buzz in these other markets. Like even on the East Coast, when we were out on the East,
but look at the artists.
Some of the people that came out have been coming out to see him for like 2-3 years.
But that's what I'm saying. Like in Canada, that hip hop is turning into.
When you're from a small place, regardless of the thing, right? You're already there.
Yeah, you're a big
It's not
fish in a
like
small
he
pond.
said, "I'm in Toronto. I'm going to go to Guelph and set up shop."
Right. He's already there.
Right? Yeah, so you said
the G stands for Guelph.
No choice.
But that's what hip hop in Canada by far and large. Like hip hop doesn't have a lot of major cities. So compared to America, you know what I mean? We don't have a lot of major cities, let alone cities that have a population bigger than 1 million people, right? So let alone again, like I'm saying, cities that have a lot of black people. So hip hop by far and large is turning into small town where these guys can go to these small towns
and take over
set up
markets.
shop, and they can do that.
That's how SDK did it.
Exactly.
That's how SDK did it. But not only that, if you look at somebody like Tech N9ne, that's how he built his following. He wasn't going, when I interviewed him the second time, like he said, when they did their first tour, he lost over like $100,000 or something nuts when they did their first Strange Music tour.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing. They were hitting these small markets all around America. It's not like they were doing 20 shows in New York and 20 shows in LA. You know what I mean? They were spreading around all these small markets around the States and building a buzz everywhere and then doing consistency. They lost over $100,000 on that first tour.
I can see that.
But now look at him. He runs the biggest independent
Always gotta lose
label.
money. It's part
But
of
yeah, that's all part of the whole formula. That's business. You got to win some, lose some, right? There's no guarantee, right? But that was why Robbie G was able to blow up in that market and then expand to these other smaller markets, right? Because Toronto's the Mecca, right? Like we're the New York City,
the New York of
you know
Canada,
what I mean?
yeah.
And there's so many rappers here. Not only is there so many rappers, so many dope rappers, right? For every Dre bars, there's a Jason Pass. There's a Tory Lanez and a Drake. Like everyone is, and like have all these other independent artists that are doing the same kind of things. Everybody's doing it in Toronto, and there's so many talented artists. Like, how many artists can you say that there's talent in, say, London or say Guelph?
No, London has a lot of talent.
London has a lot of talent. London has a lot of talent. Some artists,
NGA?
some cities. some cities compared to other cities, like London has the most talent when it comes to like the
Barry.
surrounding areas.
Yeah.
I think London, man. I think I like Barry too. Like Barry's got some spitters out there, but I think London's like where it's at. Man.
But even small towns got spitters.
Toronto.
Brantford got spitters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
Hamilton got spitters. You know, like every town got spitters.
But how many people are doing the business?
No, that's the thing. A lot of them don't come out here. But a lot of people don't give them a chance out here either unless they're buying tickets.
Yeah.
And they know they're not selling them to anyone.
It's hard to
It's
pop in
like
Toronto.
people would leave
Even with
Kansas to
Oakland.
go to
Yeah.
New York, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
He built his base in Barry, right?
But you know one thing I will say?
I don't fucking
And he did
know,
do his
man.
thing here, but it was harder for him to do his thing here.
Yeah.
As opposed to being from here and doing something from here.
Yeah.
Now,
No, he
now
doesn't
here's
really do anything.
here's the thing. Now here's the problem with, again, going back to the pay to play thing, where now you have these artists out there in these cities that where you can monopolize it, where you're like, hey, pay me this amount of money and you get to open up for whatever, right? Jadakiss, whatever, right? If you're that artist, sure, you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And like I've heard from so many people. Well, I know for a fact, like where artists have to like pay up front for this guy Robbie G.
Yeah.
Like he has to pay up front, or they have to pay him if they don't sell the tickets, right?
Yeah.
Or he won't put you on, or some shit like that, right? I've heard several stories about that. But this is the problem where it's like now that's where it's harming the culture and harming the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're taking what you essentially was a student and observing and looking. You took that and now you're just making it about business.
Yeah.
And that's what ruins the culture of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But what
Whereas
does he does and what Peter Jackson do any different?
I
He
think,
really just took the same format and ran with it, did he not?
well, Peter Jackson, for me, I'm going off personal experience.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson's never fucked me up.
See, because I can say from personal experience with Robbie, there's been times where I've undersold shows for less than half the tickets, and he still put me on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've never like these
You
horror
never had to
stories.
pay out but you never had to pay out. Look,
well,
I'm
I got
the
to a point over years where I'm like out of respect because I understand
Thank
the pay-to-pay culture.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get over my ego and I'm gonna just pay out. You know what I mean? Any tickets I take, I'll just pay out. If
well, that's you. Well, that's how you do it. I mean,
well, no, because it's a respect thing.
No,
It's
no, I
like,
hear what you're
understand
saying.
the format you run now.
Okay,
I put my pride aside, and I'm like,
You
And
just
to-
want to
to-
cover it so you don't have to stress yourself.
look, to each
well,
his own.
no, and I just don't want to. That's an agreement I take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And to each his own. It is what it is, right? But again, that shouldn't be necessarily implied for everybody. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like I understand the business of it, and you gotta respect it as. But at the same time, you gotta respect an artist. Where if you feel like you should be paid for a show or should be paid for doing what you're doing, right? If you respect your own brand, you should feel that you should be paid for a show. Right, like, that's what you.
That's
feel.
the exact difference I'm saying though is that if I
can
feel like
still
I'm getting
respect your
paid
brand
for a
and
show,
still paying
then I'm not
out.
gonna take tickets to sell for a show and be like, no, pay me.
Right.
So that's the difference.
But-
If I'm gonna take on a show, then I'm just saying that's the point where I've got to over the years where I'm like, out of a respect thing, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I said I'm gonna sell $500 in tickets. Well, I only sold $300, but I'm gonna give you $500 because that was an agreement as a man that I made to you.
Absolutely.
You know
And
what I mean?
that's-
So
and
that's
on-
like
and
that's the point.
And I totally get it, and I'm on the same tip, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm not gonna come out of pocket and give them like $5,000 or whatever if I can't sell 50 tickets, right?
But see,
And I
that's
only
almost
sold
even
20.
scarier though. Like I would rather have the rapper as a promoter who bought on a show for $500 come with 300 than the guy who bought on for 5,000 come with 2,000. Because that's a lot bigger loss.
No, for sure.
So it's a lot more of a headache. So I can understand where like a promoter on that side of sense comes from as well
ruins,
too.
In my opinion, though, I think it ruins the whole. I guess
It ruins
the culture. It ruins
It does.
everything, right?
It does. 100%. But the thing is,
I see both sides.
They have to get money, and we understand.
About your
that,
plan.
right?
Yeah.
Here's the question: ultimately, are you just trying to get money, or are you trying to have a good show? Right? Because you
well,
can
people
sell,
don't care about putting on a good show anymore. That's the problem.
That's what's killing.
I can remember when I was
But is
younger,
it-
I'd go to
but
a
is
hip
it a
hop show
problem,
and
though?
it would be a good show.
I'm not saying you have to bring the artist down and you come out of pocket $10,000.
Depends who you ask. Is it really a problem?
At the same
Because-
time, right? Are you trying to have a good show or you're trying to make money. Because if you just want to make money, you can go give it to these knuckleheads who just, like you said, you can just pay $2 grand out of their pocket or whatever, and then right? Or try to have like.
But you have to have a decent show. You want people to come back and say, "Yo."
And that's what comes back down to the promoter.
And obviously, there's a balance. You can't have just people who are good who sell no tickets and bring nobody. That's no good either. You have great people.
It has to be a balance.
It's
an insurance. That's the way I see it. Like when you buy onto a show for a certain ticket sale, it's an insurance. That's exactly what it is. They're giving you, you can have the slot, but I need an insurance on it. I need to make sure you can cover this. Yeah. Anything you ever notice, most of the time it's over a certain amount of tickets, you get to keep more of the ticket money after that. Like they want to insure themselves. They're like, if you can push this, cool, make the extra money.
It's
but
like, why should I put you on?
But well, and that's the thing. When you have a personal relationship, I can understand the difference. You know what I mean?
If it's a personal relationship,
if my man's shafting me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Look, there's no handouts, right? There's no handouts and shit, right? I'm not. No one's out here. Look, I can be on that prima donna shit, right? Like I put in the work, I put in the years, but I'm humble to knowing what's what, right? And knowing that. You know, you got to respect the culture. You got to respect the peoples that are there in it, whether you like them or not.
I got a question for all of y'all, since you guys been in the scene much longer than me, right? Like, back in the days, I mean, at our level, I'm not talking about, you got mad money to forecap. Was there a pay-to-play?
No.
Always been played.
I mean, like, on our level.
But it wasn't as...
On our level.
It wasn't...
Let's say, originally speaking, when the hip-hop scene still started popping, like...
What do you mean?
Like on the independent level?
Yeah, like, I don't know, 98 up. To like,
Well, the thing is, if you look at like on a mainstream level, a lot of times like Taylor Swift goes on tour, Camila Cabello's opening for her. I'm guarantee there's money behind the scenes that's making that happen. Taylor Swift's not just like, I like your music, come open for me on tour. It's business. You know what I mean? And that trickles down to us too. It's just us in underground scenes where maybe the scene and we understand the pulse and the people and what the people want. We look at it a certain way and be like, nah, that ain't cool. But in all reality, you know, if you want to make it to where you want to make it in this game, you're going to be doing the same shit to get on tours with fucking Jay-Z and shit, unless you're signed to them and they're putting you on. Like when I seen Hov, he had Vic Mensa with him.
But you know what, though?
You would get paid for that.
Yeah.
You would get paid, but you would be putting a deposit down beforehand, 100%, I guarantee it.
Okay, I won't deny, but like if you're going to play open for an ACC, you're going to get paid for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it like this.
But I hear you about the deposit. Yeah, okay.
But at the end of the day, though,
I don't know what it would be, but okay. But
like an investment into something.
At the end of the day, like, bottom line, it all boils down to is like, we're in the business of selling art, you know what I'm saying? And we have to make it an art to sell our business. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a yin and a yang. So regardless of whatever happened, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a business. Got to keep it moving forward. We got to figure out ways to restructure it. And people who are watching this, not everybody needs to be a rapper. We need more businessmen in this industry.
Make some fucking noise for that.
We don't have enough people, like I said, knowing your fucking worth. Create your fucking worth. Yeah. That's what we got to do right now. That's
we got
to create our fucking worth. You see that shit
where Jay was talking about not getting signed?
Right.
And he went to every label and everyone said he was garbage?
Fuck it. Create your own fucking worth. But that said, you know what I'm saying? That said, I want to try something. I want to try something else. You know what I'm saying? I want to try something.
It's not easy, boy. You got to do it.
I want to try something a little bit new. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because we talked about that for a minute. So I just want to try something new. Like yesterday, I saw something online. You know what I'm saying? This dude, let me put this up here on the screen. This dude here. Yeah. This guy here.
I saw that.
We're gonna call this the let's call this the Facebook fuck of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
We'll call this the Facebook fuck of the week.
Can we start calling out a fucker every week?
Let's give it up for the Facebook.
I'm gonna be
fuck
lit
of the
on
week.
this.
And this guy's named Kenny Sarah or whatever. So this kind of ties into, in my opinion, where hip hop is going in this country. And in my opinion, hip hop has the ability to really like bring people together. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I don't like, and one of the reasons why I approached Maloney to start the show is because I noticed a lot of guys who are really into some of this alt-right type shit. You know what I'm saying? And this dude was kind of going on, you know, some of these rants or whatever.
But he reps effing.
But he reps effing and he's repping SDK, you know? I didn't like that, you know what I mean? So I tagged Merc, I tagged SDK, I tagged Snack, I tagged them in a post. Let me see if I had that, you know, like just tell them like, hey man, you got people out here repping your shit wrong, you know what I mean? And lo and behold, man, I was surprised. My dude Merc, he got back to us, you know what I'm saying? So
Make some noise for Mercules.
Second response from Merc.
Yeah,
That's
man.
our second response.
So,
the first one wasn't so positive.
Yeah.
Hey, it was.
So,
it
but
was.
Merc got back, you know what I mean?
Stop
And he
that.
didn't like what dude was posting. He didn't like, you know what I'm saying, what dude had to say, anything like that. He wasn't feeling that. And he said that dude kind of blocked him and whatnot, which is really fucked up. But, you know, that's our Facebook, our Facebook fuck of the week, you know? And
Hey,
kind of a dick
put it
for
this
that.
way, man. Hip hop is one of two things. Hip hop's one of two things.
Yeah.
You can either pay to play or you can pay for plays.
There you go.
That's hip hop.
I mean, at the end of the day, man.
That's hip hop
they just say-
2019.
I mean, to be honest with you, I read a quote that when you make a track, anyways, it usually takes about $50,000 to get that shit bumping.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not even.
I'd be spending like
that's
10.
marketing money. That's mixtape money.
And even if you spend that money, you might not even make it back.
There's
No.
fucking
Right?
guarantee.
No, you gotta be prepared to lose it.
Touch on your question.
Yeah.
About was there a pay to play?
For our level.
For
that's
our
what
level,
I'm
yes.
not talking about, like,
Yes,
yo,
there
I have
was.
cat
Like we're
on
talking
the
about.
next to drop.
So we've been talking about big name artists, and this whole pay to pay thing. There's also at our level where promoters were charging artists to just get on and perform. Like sell tickets for just their like independent show. No, like there was no like.
No, I mean for a big show, like a headline. Major
I'm talking about the
headline.
local show.
No, but okay, I got you. They're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
doing
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like
That
a major
always to me is
back in the
nuts.
day, to get
Yeah.
on a major
But
headliner.
it depends, right?
Can you
I can't
like
confirm
for a
anything.
slight budget? Not for
Possibly
anything
can.
under $1,000.
Yeah, possibly can, but I'm not sure how.
It was
I'll tell you what.
hip hop shows like that weren't.
I don't know.
It wasn't as regular
I'll
because.
tell you what. Some shows that I wasn't involved with promoting wise just went to, right?
Yeah.
They would hardly have any open acts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
For instance,
You have
I
to
remember
pop
seeing
one of the
shows
first
like
ones
that.
popping
one of the
for there to
first
be-
ones
Yeah.
I remember.
Or you'd have to invest the actual show.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember Hustle Man.
Okay.
They
Hustle
opened
Man, yeah.
for Nas, right?
Okay.
No,
But they-
Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep. Sorry, not Mobb Deep. But they paid. It was their show. They
Yeah.
brought him down. They were the promotion group that brought him down, right?
okay,
Nas,
okay.
like you said, didn't know the openers. There's no openers for these guys.
Yeah.
You come there, you're there, you buying drinks, you're waiting.
Yeah.
You're printing tunes, and then he comes on like 11,
But-
10 o'clock, guy.
Like
So
when
you gotta
Ramos
respect
used
there
to do
wasn't that.
shows, used to do
okay.
shows, certain artists that were popping were on those shows. But it wasn't a lot of people on those shows.
That's what I said.
But I don't know how
Yeah.
they got on.
That's
Did
what
they
it
get
comes
on
to
there
a
because
hierarchy.
they were popping because their manager helped out, or they dropped money?
Sometimes
That's
management,
something
sometimes
But you know
lawyers.
what?
Yeah.
There's two sides
You know
to
what I
this
mean?
coin now too. Because okay, facts, bro. Like a lot of like. I understand when you put it, it's like Uber and the taxis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the taxi had to buy this whole thing for how many ever racks, and now you just got to get a whip and register in your SATA, right?
Yeah.
Might
Okay,
as well
back
be
in the
Uber
day, the
drivers.
man had to put in like all the work. You had to be popping in your city.
Yeah.
You had to be in
Time
demand to
shit.
get on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
all of
yeah.
that shit, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like
Anybody and everybody.
Any Joe Blow can
Absolutely.
jump on,
Yes,
can
kinda
drop their
know, though.
loot and get. But here's the thing.
Yes, and kind of no, because okay, for example, like I don't want to say give them publicity or whatever, but we use the example of like an Ill Vibe or whatever, right? You know what I mean? When's the last time this guy performed in Toronto? And he can perform anywhere else, but he can say he's from Toronto.
Yeah.
But in
Who
his
knows?
own city, he doesn't really perform
Yeah,
that
who
much.
knows?
Yeah.
I
Right?
met him in
Who
France.
knows?
I
You know
haven't
what I
met him in
mean?
Toronto.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, but he doesn't
so that
perform
creates-
because he's scared.
that creates a problem though. If you can't perform in your own city,
How
go
you
all around
repping
the
a city
world,
that you're scared of?
right?
Yeah,
if you can't
that's the whole
perform in your
thing,
home,
but-
If you're
so
from there,
a lot of people
How you
do
from
that.
there and you can't go
gotta-
back there? That's a problem.
A lot of people.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a balance, man. It's a balance. You gotta
Balance.
you gotta be able to
Bottle
hold it
scared
down
to
for
go
the
back
block,
home,
and you
man.
gotta be able to do it worldwide, and you know what I'm saying. But nowadays as well, you gotta pop off on fucking YouTube. I mean, you gotta understand too. When we were younger, there was a lot more labels and more distributors.
Yeah, for
Now
sure.
these labels have amalgamated,
Yeah.
so that there's only like 3 majors.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
there's only 3.
It's like
fucking
what,
major
Universal,
labels.
Sony, and
and you know
and
what I mean?
Atlantic.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? So now if there's this few labels, you're not getting signed. We don't need to get signed because we got Spotify and we got stream media. But then there's just so much other stuff. So then you got to figure out a way to be
manipulate
viral. You got to
gotta
find
market
you got to find your way
yourself
through the
the right way.
algorithms. You got to market yourself. It's still a
That's
business.
what I'm
saying.
And so
And
a lot of
that's-
dudes.
You
We had a
look cheap
teacher.
for
Me and this
these
man had a
things, you
teacher.
know?
His name is
Big
Vic
up Vic.
Sinclair. You know
Bam,
what I'm saying?
bam, bam.
And he used to say, you got to make your business your art and your art a business. And that's what a lot of us in Toronto, we're not doing. We're thinking, yo, I can make the hottest fucking song and everyone's going to love it.
nah.
But at the end of the day, if my business ain't right, ain't nobody going to know about that fucking song.
But the
And
problem-
hold on, before I even go on. The first thing this man taught me in class is it's not who you or myself know. It's who knows you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So if I don't know your fucking name, if I don't know your 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 name, you don't know my name, and something pops up and I can say, yo, that would be dope for you, but I don't know you, ain't shit gonna happen. So we gotta fucking go out there and network, and we gotta make ourselves be known. We gotta think outside of the box, and we gotta fucking be about our business as much as we are about our fucking art.
But do you think
this guy was the rest, man.
But do you think it's the resources that's like available to us though? Why that would limit that drive, that push? Because what you're saying is 100. But if you don't have, if you have to do A, B, and C to get to D, and D's not there, right? How could you get over that hump?
And no, because at the end of the day, like I said,
well,
how could you manipulate the algorithms? How could you manipulate the views? How could you get on these bigger?
You manipulate by paying for fake ones.
No. You don't even have to. You don't even have to do that. You don't even have to manipulate.
Unfortunately, that is a way, but
you can, yes. But nowadays, people go to YouTube for music, right? So you got to know, for example, what channels to kind of subscribe to. You got to watch some videos. Same thing with Instagram. It's about hashtags. It's about what you're tagging.
It's about trends. Everything is about trends.
It's spending that time and knowing your product and knowing that product demographic. You understand what I'm saying? Someone doesn't just say, yo, I'm going to make a fucking hat company and put out a hat and it sells. They said, yo, let me study who it's going to sell to, who my market is, what material I need, how much it's going to cost, how I get it produced. So this is what a lot of us aren't doing.
Paperwork.
We're not doing the paperwork. We're not doing our business plans. We're not saying, okay, I have the product, but how do I roll it out? Who am I rolling it out to? Who's my intended audience? You know what I'm saying? So even with some of these shows, when some of these promoters are bringing some of these guys and thinking, okay, it's a name, but is that name even hot anymore? Because that name might have been hot 15 years ago, but it doesn't mean that name is going to be hot today. And that's the problem that I run into with some of my DJ partners.
Make some noise for Smiles and South Star.
They want to spin stuff from like 15, 20 years ago, and I'm looking at the audience, I'm like, guys, these guys are in their early 20s. They don't want to hear Puffy, they don't want to hear Biggie, they don't want to hear Pac, because those guys, music was made before they were even born. They're not understanding the demographic or our market that we're intending to make money off of at that time. You know what I'm saying? So our business is all fucked up.
That's if you're trying to hit that demographic.
No, but just in general, no matter what, you got to know
how to market.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to play a St. Patrick's Day party on Saturday at a bar, and I got to know, do they want alternative music or do they want hip-hop music? Because if I fuck up and I go there intending to play hip-hop music, but they want that rock, I'm going to fuck the whole night up. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it is, man, we're not doing our due diligence. We're not doing our homework. We're not. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and as far as resources, you know what I want to touch on? Like I said, we have less labels than before, right? But we have YouTube. We have
freedom
Spotify.
to do our music.
There's more music available for free after this podcast goes live than there was before. Not all of it's going to be a gem, but with hip hop, it was always about digging for our fucking gems. Instead of this shit handed to us for free that we sit around complaining about every motherfucking day, right? You gotta dig for those gems. You gotta dig through the fucking crates. You gotta dig for those fucking records, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful art. It's always shit with diamonds. It's always shit with the bullshit. You know what I mean?
And that's where it's like, on one of the posts that I posted today, somebody commented on more or less the same subject where you were saying that, a lot of these, he's talking about Almeida, he's bringing down guys like Tech 9 and bringing down guys like Onyx and like, it's like the same kind of acts, right, that are only attracting these audiences, right? If you like this white audience, it's what sells, right?
Yeah, obviously.
And that's where, he's hesitant to bring down, say a Cormega or a Cassidy, because it's like, that's the thing where like our problem is, that's where the problem is, where, our business isn't on point.
But is he in touch
That's
with
the
that
question.
Audience?
Right?
If you look
and
at
if you're not in touch
that,
with it,
you don't know what to market to them.
Well, another problem is too, they pimp some of these artists out. Like, an artist makes a show agreement and then they like book them in like 7 cities around Ontario. So then, like, me growing up in Brantford, if like Naughty by Nature was coming, they came to Toronto. I paid tickets to go see them in Toronto and made a fucking night of it, copped a hotel, whatever. You know what I mean? It was like an experience. It was fun. But now if he's coming to your fucking city, all right, fuck it. Like, growing up in a smaller town, I've never seen more hip hop shows happen in small towns like Brantford, London, all these towns than I've seen now. You know what I mean? Because that was my circuit growing up. Because those are the closest to me.
So the Gucci Man show, for example, the Gucci Man show's not even coming to Toronto. The Gucci Man show is going to be in Oshawa. There's a reason why. Because A, venues are closing down in Toronto. B, a huge fucking overhead. C, Oshawa's not that far. And if you really want to see Gucci Man, you're probably going to take that 30, 45-minute drive out to Oshawa.
The only difference is with that, though, the people who are going out to Oshawa and stuff, 80% of them probably aren't from Toronto. Because people from Toronto, people who live in the city have a mentality like, oh, fuck, I ain't going out there for that. A lot of people are like that.
You'll get people from Durham in there. You know why?
And it's also it's a university.
But
town.
a lot of people, I guarantee you, from Hamilton and these other cities would drive to Oshawa for that show.
Listen, if you got money,
it's the same way they put Wu-Tang in Kitchener, though.
No. But check this out.
But
if you got money, Oshawa is the town to invest your money.
They make money, bro.
The reason why Peter Jackson can do what he's doing right now. Hold on. I was saying the reason why Peter Jackson can bring in a lot of these artists and do what he's doing right now is because, like, either through luck or just ingenious, he knew, like, Oshawa is going to become a hub. Yeah. My boy lives right across the street from the University of Oshawa that, like, just been built up or whatever. So that town, it's just getting people, whether it's from Toronto or all over the country, coming in, you know what I'm saying, to go to school, and they're all young. Now, all these bars, all these pubs popping up, the university nights. So, you start bringing artists out there, you're going to make more money out there than you are in downtown Toronto. You got the islands. Exactly, because you got Ajax, you got Whitby, you got Bowmanville, you got Curtis, Port Perry. So, yeah, man. Oshawa's the money town right now, man.
You don't remember that shit? The wrestling tour? Thunder Bay.
But Oshawa's not, it's not all white right now. Oshawa, you're saying, like, because the university town.
It definitely changes.
Oshawa's about who got that shows. Who's that shows? And I don't care what artist you name.
Oh, absolutely.
It's 75, 80%.
But this is the thing, right?
Now, here's the reason why. Yeah. Because white folk will go for the party.
Yeah.
They don't need to know who the artist is or like his music per se. Unless like 150.
There's something going on in my town. I might as well check it out.
Right. Be a good party.
There's shit going on here anyways.
Black folk, for the most part, urban folk, we're like, yo, who is it? I don't like him, so fuck it, guy, right?
Yeah.
So is that a cultural thing, man? Is a cultural setback?
We won't go just for the party of it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right?
Who's the artist? Oh, if I don't know him, or I don't like him, I'm not going.
But the promoter who's in touch with the so-called black community that's bringing that person knows that they're going to be able to sell that event.
Yeah.
Right? That's the difference. To that market.
I don't think it's a cultural thing. Because look at the soca scene. Look at the reggae scene. They can sell out huge shows.
Yeah.
It's easier.
But it's the promoters, right?
Yeah.
That is who you're attracting.
Knowing their market.
Yeah.
No, it also depends on, again, no, listen what I'm saying. It comes down to the promoter and their touch on their pulse on so-called communities.
Right.
Most of the promoters that have events with mostly white audience don't really deal with the black audience at all. They barely deal with the black community. And it's not a disrespect. It's just what I've seen. No, I'm not saying Peter Jackson doesn't, but again, you know what I mean? You guys, you know better.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. It's not about Peter Jackson. It's just about in general.
Yeah.
Right.
Also have to understand something too about.
He's not gonna bring down Erykah Badu.
Also have to understand something about.
You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna bring down certain.
But that's not his. That's not his market.
Right. You know but what I'm saying is, I'm like I said, who he's already targeting. If you're in Oshawa and Durham, majority of people are white.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Majority of people in Canada are white.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Yeah, that's for sure. Right. But there was a time in Toronto when most of the audience that used to come to these shows weren't white. Mm-hmm. It's just that things have changed over time.
And there's only certain avenues or certain venues that are available. Like what you were saying. Like they're closing down everything.
Timeless is closing down, and that's probably the only black-owned venue I know in this city that I can think of. That's the only black-owned bar. But what I also want to say though is, you know what I mean, like a lot of artists who could benefit from performing with some of these biggest artists aren't getting the chance because hip-hop right now is in such a big money era. Yeah. You know, someone like French Montana is going to go to Rebel. You know what I mean? And he's going to sell it out. They're not going to put a local dude to open up for him.
Sometimes, honestly, bro.
Sometimes, so you know what I'm saying?
It's not even that, Even if he's not going to put it anyways. I had a set of people that were going to bring Nas in 2012. And they were specifically told, no local acts.
Yeah, a lot of once you get to a certain reach, they don't even
no local act.
There's certain artists that will have like in their rider. Yeah,
Not
no
even
local acts.
that. Even the clubs.
Yeah, the
Even
clubs.
like
Yeah.
when
Clubs,
Prime-
it's
like,
not
no
the-
local
the-
acts.
it's not
Even
the rappers.
One that was disappointing actually
Yeah.
was even when Prime came down. I'm pretty sure there was no local openers. I'm
Who
pretty
did
sure
that
it was
show,
just
though?
DJ spinning up until fucking
Who did the
Primo and
show?
Royce came out.
Who's the promoter?
I don't remember. It was at what was that spot like Queen and Bathurst, right around Tattoo Parlor?
Okay.
Oh,
it really depends who the
Tattoo.
promoter
I
was.
like
Was
Tattoo.
it
it
rap
was at
season?
Tattoo. Say what?
That was
rap
right when
season?
Tattoo was closing down.
I'm
Though.
not sure.
They were
Yeah,
trying
it
to
was
bring down
close to when
Yella,
they're
and they were
closing
trying to bring
down.
down Prime.
It depends-
So they were kind of going through different management.
But it all comes down to who's the promoter, man.
It was Inc.
Yeah, probably. If it's
So
Ink,
it's
they're
Inc.
most
Yeah,
likely.
Ink's not putting no local people
Yeah.
on any of their fucking
Yeah.
shows. Like, because again, they're a corporation. They're not a local person. It's a
Yeah.
corporation. Don't expect any local.
'Cause I
people
almost
on any of
assumed
those
that was
shows,
like-
right?
Yeah. And you always got to look
Request
at the
per
hierarchy.
premiere. Because I know
Yeah.
Royce will have local. Well, even
Yeah.
last time he came, he did Mod
But
Club.
again,
I don't
that's-
think
but
he
yeah,
had any local
goes
openers.
With the attitudes. It goes with the attitudes of your market, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you put on a French Montana, you know as a promoter you don't need to put on openers.
Yeah,
right?
but
And
if they,
on top of
but
that-
if
and
those,
on
But you
top of
should
that,
give them the
people that
look.
are there, they don't want
But
to
if
see
they
the
give
local.
it-
Like I think
but-
promoters who don't give
Yeah.
local artists a chance at a show
Yeah.
like that are more to blame for why the culture sucks
Yes
right
and
now
no.
than a pay-to-play
put
promoter
it
who's
like
trying
this.
to make his bread and
But,
bring
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yes, bad.
But this is the thing, though.
Like that, bro, because I mean, we did shows for guys who are sick, bro, and it's like nobody's there, guy. You know,
because
just-
nobody
Yeah,
knows the
that's-
show's
that's a
fucking
problem.
going
So
on.
that's why-
I'm telling
you
you,
know,
most
like-
of those shows that
Right.
shouldn't be
It's
dead,
been touched
they're
on.
literally
It's been
people
touched on.
don't know. Those promoters are not hitting up those markets out of those
And
people
not,
that
not
actually
only
know
just
them.
that,
Yeah.
not only
Come.
just that, people
They don't
aren't
even know
taking the
what's going on.
opportunity. And I've seen a few artists do this, and these ones are the ones who usually a little bit more successful. A merchandising table. When I had merchandising at shows where I had like posters or t-shirts, anything, I was a little bit more successful at those shows, stickers, whatever. And B, people are not actually like recording their shows and actually documenting this stuff. There's no documentation of the last 5 to 10 years in our city where it was like, okay, look, like this was logged almost
No,
like a fucking
Facebook
journal.
is the documentation.
Facebook,
basically.
but in a weird
if you
way.
want to
You know what I'm
scroll
saying? So
back for
actual
fucking thousands of
professional
days.
documentation. If you got to shell
Yeah.
out $250 to hire a photographer, videographer for that night, fucking do it. That Tech Nine show would have been the show to do. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta start doing this and figuring out
Yeah.
whether it's Brown Guy or anybody. Hey man, we gotta start making dope videos, collages, and shit. We gotta like. whether
Well,
we
shout out
fake it
Lee
or not,
Solo.
and make
He's
the
been
show look
killing
like it was
those.
fucking dope. So yeah, Solo.
Right.
He's falling around Snack and he's
Yeah, he's
whatnot.
been killing
He's
those.
been
It's just
killing
hard to
it,
go to a
but-
show that you don't know exists.
Make some
well, we
noise for
haven't been
Solo.
documenting our,
Yeah.
we haven't been documenting our scene. You know what I'm saying? We're not taking the time to show the rest of the world what we have. We're just
Yeah.
expecting because names are out there and because the 6 is hot,
But-
because 416 is that people are gonna automatically look. But we're not showing, man. You know what I'm
True,
saying? We gotta
true.
craft our
But
fucking
you gotta-
product.
Right, absolutely. But you got to remember one thing though too, right? And this goes back to the promoters and selling your shows and your events. And these promoters are not taking the time to go out and find their market. You shouldn't just you shouldn't just rely on the artist to do it.
No, I agree with
You
that.
know what I'm saying? And you got, because at the end of the day, these artists were not promoters.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
That's
that's where
yeah,
a lot of
of
these
course.
promoters will sit back and they'll think that these guys are promoters and they'll treat them as such. It's like, you know, if you're not on the ball selling your tickets, right? You can't be like thinking that right away that.
Well, if you ever notice, like with these pay-to-play, sorry, not to cut you
Yeah.
off, but like these tours, it's exactly that. City
That's
to
the problem.
city.
We're not promoters.
The dudes who are really the ones like getting the slot right before the artist a lot of time are the ones who are like the promoters of that city. They're not necessarily the best rappers. But if you look around all around Ontario, a lot of the guys are the biggest name
Yeah.
who are opening for the biggest names in a lot of these
Yeah.
towns.
Yeah.
Right? And
Aren't
it's
the
smart,
best
and you know what?
rappers in the town.
You know what? It's smart business.
I'm getting
Because
up
here's
for
the
2
thing.
seconds.
You have a
Guy.
price that you're paying. Just do it.
I'm just saying.
You guys sell all these tickets for you, and you just sit back.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You got 5 artists selling bringing back $500 a piece, guy. You're sitting back collecting $2,500. You didn't do that.
You want to
Right,
name?
right,
You
right,
want to
right.
name some
No,
names there?
Come on, man. We know it's fact.
So you want to name some names?
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'm not
promote the
gonna.
show and you put up flyers, go,
But I
sell
could.
those tickets, what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, if
So
you
other
take
people
offense, the
sell
shoe
those
fits.
tickets, right? So it's like, you can
Woo!
it's like, in that
Dun dun dun.
portion of your work done for you, right?
No, I feel you.
That's the thing.
All right, but
Speak
yo,
generally, and
business
if
is good,
people
it's a
take
good
offense,
threat.
well, then they're exposing their own guilt.
But let's check this out, though, man. We've been going for 90 minutes. We've been going strong. Let's we definitely got to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, we got to do a part 2 of this.
We got a part 2. We got to do a part 2 where there's a little bit more alcohol involved.
Yeah, man.
Have some fun.
Yeah,
Shoot
man.
the shit. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
and Matt's got to show up, man. What the hell?
Definitely.
You got to
the fact
defend
you
your
guys go
position,
through it.
dude.
Yeah, man. Talking
Defend
Let
his
us
position.
know. First and foremost, what the fuck's popping? What's going on? Where the people can hear you guys? What's next? You know what I'm saying? All that. Like,
well, right now I got.
What's going on with your son's basketball team too, man?
Oh well, right now we're just waiting. Right now we got provincials coming up in the beginning of April, so we're hoping to go defend our title. It's gonna be a tough ride. I won't lie. We got a lot of talent out there.
I heard about your coaching, bro.
Right, so
Vince told me like you got a girls team that's killing it out there.
My girls team is that's another story. That's another story in itself, right? Yo, you know what's so funny? Like I've coached for so many years, but I've only coached. I've coached for probably give or take 12 years, 13 years, let's say. But I've only coached girls basketball for maybe 5 years, give or take. I love coaching girls basketball more than coaching boys basketball.
Woo!
And because girls actually listen.
Yeah.
And they actually, clap, clap up for feelings. It was Independent Women's Day the other day.
Yeah, it was.
Right? But yeah, they're much easier because it's like they listen, they take the time. I mean, you might deal with the attitude here and there, but no, for sure. You're gonna catch the attitudes. But
I'd imagine.
they put in that effort, right? Like they put in that 100, especially the more talented ones, like they'll like go out there and if you have that one or two gems that are out there that are gonna go out be the bully, they'll go out and score baskets all the time and they'll put in the 100 work. But I love coaching girls, like because they actually listen. But my boys team, that's my boys. I've known them since they're like 4 or 5. We got another league that we're in. We're gonna be waiting for the playoffs for that. That's in a couple weeks. My son just got on a traveling team. We're actually gonna be going out to the States this weekend. So he's gonna be getting his first taste of American basketball. So I hope he's ready for that.
Okay.
But right now, I'm here, man. Like, it's just a balancing act for me. You know what I mean? I got the album that's out right now, Sleepless in Scarborough. It's on all platforms, Spotify, Tidal, all that stuff. Go check that out. I'm gonna have hard copies real soon. I'm gonna be doing shows again. Like Tech 9 was kind of like, I was out of hibernation. I haven't done a show since like December because it's been cold. Like I don't like performing in the wintertime. I really don't. Like
make some noise for that.
Yeah, straight up.
I hate having to leave my house in the winter.
So like I usually like hibernate like December, January, February. Start coming out around March. So, I got that.
So it's like if we bring you out of hibernation, you better put me on a little bit later.
Yeah.
I'm chilling in the crib right now.
Like,
I'm kind of warm. I'm kind of cozy.
This is the first time I asked this guy. This is the first time we did a pay to play in a long time. And it's like, I took on the tech and it's like, when I took it on, it was like one of those ones like, should I have done that? Like, fuck. I'm looking outside thinking like, yo, is it getting warmer outside? Still like, yo, it's cold. Yo, this winter is cold, my niggas. Like, I'm sorry, man. This shit's cold.
No doubt it's a cold winter. And anybody watching, man, check out my man's video, man. 80s favorite babies, myself, Specs, and PvP. We shot a video for this man not too long ago.
Yes.
His son stole the scene, man. His littlest one, man.
Shout out to y'all.
That, man.
Yeah, that's Diggy Boo. He's the next one. He's too
we
wild
out. Clips of him.
He's too wild out right now to play sports. So he's just gotta chill, but he's gonna get there. Like his brother's getting the shine right now, But yeah, man, just go on the YouTube, just type in Mike Gutz, you'll find me. You'll find the videos, you'll find my page. I'm all over, man. I got that album. I got another album that I have in the works right now. I actually have a few albums on the works right now. It's just the thing is that I'm so busy with my ball team, so busy with the other stuff happening in my life that sometimes the music gets lost, right? In translation. That's why it's like it's hard for me to like sometimes come out and do these events and shows because I've been all over the place, right? But I have the music; it's there, and the shows are gonna be popping soon. Connect the Dot, we're gonna be going on tour real soon, so it's gonna be hitting up.
Shout out Dan Barker.
Shout out Dan Barker. Shout out Vincey P. Shout out to the whole Connect the Dot team. I think Stitch is gonna be coming out with us this time. He won the last Connect the Dot. Dustin.
He wins
Wareham,
everything.
He was in you were in the competition. You were sick with it, right? You were one of my. It sucked that you could only pick one because. It's like you were one of my favorite. That's the thing. We're about talent, right? Like we're about putting on artists that are talented. We're not gonna just put on anyone that's garbage.
Right,
Most of the shows that we did with Connect the Dot when we did the tour, like out of the 10, I would say maybe 8 of them were dope that it could have won it. Like that could have got that.
Could have been anyone's night.
Yeah,
that night.
yeah. You know, like it wasn't too far off with a lot of acts, right? But you know, that's the thing. We always screen for talent. Like, you know, like we make sure that if, you know, we're gonna put on a certain amount of people. Like, if we're gonna put on you on our bill, you gotta be talented, unless you know that you can compete against the best. Yeah, and absolutely. Stitch did his thing, right? Like, it was a tough gauntlet, but you know, he's riding away right now. Shouts to Stitch right now.
He's killing him.
But Connect the Dot. We're gonna be going on tour real soon. Look out for the dates for that. Shit, this guy, I know he's got a tape that he's got popping off.
Yeah, Specs was popping, man. What you got dropping, man?
Look out end of summer, man. Trust me, I'm taking the summer off. My side, not my side hustle, but my little endeavor here.
You got a track with like Specs, Dre, fucking Specs, the other Specs one, Specs one, like.
I forgot about that shit.
Specs for Specs.
Do you have a problem with all the Specs?
I have no problem. I'm the oldest.
Yo, I'm the real Specs.
You call it Specs squared, guy. But anyway, I got the name already, right? But I'm saying I'm not. End of summer, you can look out for a new album. You know what I'm saying? Edutainment LP coming.
Looking forward. I got some tracks for you, bro.
Seeing. Yo, producers, I'm still collecting beats.
There you go.
Spectac@gmail.com, you know what I'm saying?
Plug
Don
that.
Boxman on Facebook, guy. Hit me up, you know what I'm trying to say? We can talk business too. But you better be hot, guy, right?
Yo, he's worth $250,000, yo. He's got that buck. Yo,
when you got your new video dropping, bro?
Yo, you know what? I got my new Scarabian Nights video dropping next month. I know everybody's been waiting for a little minute, but it's gonna drop next month. Though, you know what I'm saying?
This the only man I know book a show in a boxing ring.
Hell yeah.
Whole joke was ain't no fucking AC in that boxing ring.
That shit was so hot.
We
was just turning up, drinking.
That's a nasty place to perform, but that's all right.
That sounds cool. We had fun that night, man.
Up in Scarborough at Scarbarian Boxing. Yo, shout out Scarbarian Boxing. I turned the ring into the stage.
That's dope. That's dope.
When was this?
A lot of fun that night.
This was on September. What was it?
Early September, man. Like September, like 9th or something, man. Like,
it was it was like August. The end of August.
No, because it was a few days before, a week before I went to Cuba.
Yeah, I must have been.
It was September, man.
Because September 2nd. No, it was probably the 1st.
Yeah, it was around that time. It was real soon before I went to Cuba, man.
Because the 2nd was something else, and then the 3rd was T-Dot Fest.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Right, but also I'm about to hit up fucking New York.
Yeah.
On April 5th for Royal Flush, the governor of Queens, Royal Flush. We're
trying to make that trip with you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? He's a big DJ. He's done shit with Maestro. He's came out here, you know.
I might make that trip with you. We can talk about that one off here, man.
Word, yeah. My homegirl, Chuchi's milkshake events. You know what I'm saying? She lined that shit up. So, you know what I'm saying? We need to
milkshake bring all the boys to you guys.
Yo, I'm trying to get the Toronto artists to connect to the New York artists, and then the New York artists to connect to the
Listen, can I just go on the record right now? I'm going on the record to all the promoters out there. So Peter Jackson, fucking J Don, Dan Barker, even you, Matt Almeida, everybody right now. Can somebody please bring down Griselda? Please. Please.
So say it again.
Now I know that probably certain mans can't cross, but you gotta look into that, man.
I got one.
You gotta look into that.
Shout out Buffalo,
Buffalo's not that far though.
Do the show in Buffalo.
Y'all need to go to Buffalo.
Do the show in Buffalo. Go to do it in Niagara side.
I got
a Buffalo link.
Go to Buffalo, man.
Or set up a Buffalo show with these guys because
I got a link with Buffalo.
Because those guys are top notch right now.
Listen, shout out my dudes Cooley High down in Buffalo. Shout out Tony Boy. You know what I'm saying? I brought him up a few times, and he's actually doing work with those dudes. He's been DJing. He's been putting in a lot of work, killing it for Buffalo. As far as I know, like he's kind of running things down there right now. Those guys are doing their thing. So shout out to him. And we need to link with Buffalo, man. We need to give him a call.
We need to get these guys down here. We need to set up something close enough there so you can even if we says something in Niagara. And then, you have, whatever, a Buffalo to Toronto thing. You do a party bus, some shit.
All right, I'm gonna set up a phone call.
We can debut our new group there.
I'm gonna set up a phone call. I'm gonna set up a Skype next week with my boy Tony Boy. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it at nighttime. I'll do like Toronto Talks on Facebook Live or whatever. Tune in for that episode and hit him up. You know what I mean? Because I got him on FB. We can make that happen.
Man, I think
he wants to come up here because there's more opportunities to perform up here. So.
If promoters need to get those guys down here, man, because
we'll make that work.
I gotta make that trip too, man. I gotta go do a video of my homie.
Buffalo's not that far.
You know what I'm saying?
Make that work.
Not far at all.
I gotta get that video. We already got the track. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Stoan, what you got going on this weekend, man? It's fucking St. Patrick's Day. Let the people know there. Drop some knowledge. Where do people find you spinning fucking tonight, tomorrow, the next 20 days?
Tonight, whatever. Tomorrow, whatever. Saturday, Cabin. Sunday, Basso. And the other stuff.
Shout out Basso. You doing big things over at Basso.
I can't speak about.
You guys doing big things at Basso, man.
So Mike gets to sleep on Tuesday.
Right now. Yeah. Well, you guys have had Tone over there. You had Bishop last week. Tone Maestro on Sunday afternoon. So these guys are doing big things. Sunday afternoon. This guy's doing big things over at Basso. I like what you're building over there right now.
Well, it's not me. You know it's Freddie.
You guys are building on another fucking last, man. You can catch me fucking spinning at the Firkin down in Etobicoke, I think on like Lake Drive or something this Saturday night. I'll be spinning the Groove Bar, Woodbine and Danforth Sunday night, St. Patrick's Day, because I gotta do something. I gotta drink beer and I gotta make money while I drink beer and eat fucking chicken wings. They make the best jerk chicken wings and the best fucking lemon pepper chicken wings anywhere on the Danforth, bar none. The Groove Bar, Danforth and Woodbine, man. Okay. Sunday night, man. Yeah, Groove Bar. They make the best chicken wings and the best fucking lemon pepper wings. Anyone at Danforth. They do karaoke like 4 nights a fucking weekend.
Karaoke.
Stand-up comedy the other nights. But I'll be there Sunday. I might be DJing Sunday nights there moving forward. Just kind of some alternative, old school hip-hop and stuff. But definitely roll through Sunday night. That's what's popping. Maloney, what you got? You're the only white guy in the room, so how do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Tell us how the fuck we're supposed to do it proper, bro. Like, what are we supposed to do?
You're Irish. You're Irish.
Your last name's Maloney, so Kelly, that's an Irish name too. So what the fuck,
bro? You know how people who like sports, Super Bowl is their day.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll wake up to a pint of Guinness
filled with
a full bottle of green dye inside of it. Just so I can piss green the rest of the day.
You actually piss green?
Fuck yeah.
I didn't even know that.
It's like blue Fanta. I'll substitute. If I don't got green dye, then blue Fanta. I'm just to be pissing green all day. So that's how I start the day. But blue Fanta and Guinness ain't that good. But it can be. It depends.
So that makes green.
I don't even know that shit. But either way, for lunch, it is a strict diet. I guess more a strict buffet of chicken wings, at least 5 pounds, dressed in cocaine.
Oh, wow.
And if you don't eat your percentage of the wings, so we usually get like 5 of us together. So if you don't eat at least 1 pound of Coke wings, then you're cut the rest of the night.
Coke wings are real.
You don't get none of the keg. You don't get nothing. The first person that taps out gets a dick drawn on their face.
Oh, God.
So then we continue to phase 2.
This is good. This shit is like
We'll leave it at phase 2.
Yeah.
What happened at phase 2?
What's on phase 2?
Oh, man. The shit gets crazy.
Yeah, go in.
I thought the Coke wings.
I'm not gonna get a real Irish party.
All right, we got it, man. We're gonna leave it up to mystery, man. All right, but that being said, man,
make some fucking noise for Toronto.
Make some noise, man.
We actually kind of talked about Toronto for once.
Yeah, man. We talked about a few things. Rest in peace to Dylan O'Brien once again. You know what I'm saying? That's a fellow hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Merculus, you know what I'm saying, for keeping it real. You know what I mean?
Did you call him Merculus?
Yeah, Merculus.
Yeah, I was like, Merciless or Mercules?
Is it Merculus or Mercules?
Mercules, all right, like Hercules, Mercules, whatever, man. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I'll say shit a little weird. That's how it goes. Exactly. But shout him out nonetheless. Keeping it fucking real with us. And, yeah, man. Shout out y'all for coming through, man. It was a blast. Gotta get y'all to come through again. You know what I'm saying? Next time y'all come through. Next time y'all come through, we're gonna get proper blunted. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah,
gonna open
we'll-
the windows. We're just gonna.
And we'll get
smoke.
Almeida here, and we'll put like
Yeah.
a referee in the corner. and
Exactly.
We'll
We'll
just see how
do
it
the
plays
damn
out.
thing. We'll get
NFL,
Matt over here.
yeah.
You guys can box it out. 3 rounds. The headgear for charity.
Stop
You know what I'm
this.
saying? We might actually set that up at the Rock Pile. We can
Listen.
do that.
No,
We
you
can
guys should
do
battle
that,
for
man.
charity.
But nah, you have some valid points. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. Look, it's not even like, yo, I'm not even trying to go here and say, yo, I'm dissing or any of that
Nah.
shit. I'm not even trying to, like, I'm trying to spread the love, bro. It's 2019.
Hey.
That's what it is.
You know,
That's what it
we
is.
got to spread love, man. No,
That's
all
what
of this
it is.
bullshit, like we said, too many people are dropping, too many people
Yeah.
are dying, bodies are dropping.
We're alive.
You know, we're alive.
Yeah.
You should
Enjoy
be
the
happy,
day.
right?
Hell
I
yeah.
was happy. I was appreciative that I got on that stage and I did my thing. You know? It's like I walked on the stage and I saw that shit. I was like, whoa, you know, this is a fucking nice day. All I'm saying is the point of what I've been trying to say is that, yo, respect my shit, respect my craft, right? And as artists, we need to make sure that we are respecting ourselves to the fullest, right? Don't let a promoter talk down to you or think that you have to, you know, sell a certain amount to perform or push your brand. Like, you got to know your worth. You got to know, you know, what it is. And people need to support these artists, man. Instead of going out and buying tickets online, go to the artists themselves, man.
That's a big thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, find the artist. For me, when I'm on a show, or if I'm not on a show and I see like my brethren are on a show and I plan on going to that, I'm gonna hit them up and say, yo, save a ticket for me. I'm coming to your show.
That's
I'm
what's
gonna
up.
pay it. I'll pay the full price, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Fuck
saying?
yeah.
Like, so you can eat, right? But I'm going to the artists, and that's what people need to do. Like forget all these online sites and Ticketmaster and all
You
that
can't
shit.
become
Pay
a
your
legend
tax.
without people backing you. You know what I mean?
Like, support these artists, man, that are
Absolutely,
out there,
man.
man. Like, you know if like pay attention to what's going on, right? And yeah, that's generally what I'm trying to say, man.
Don't worry about
That was a perfect opportunity to say,
wasn't
put some
true.
respect on our
Put
motherfucking
respect on my
name.
fucking name. Put some respect.
That's what's up, man.
Before we get out,
Yeah.
also support your local escorts as well. Make some
Yeah. All right, man. On
Back
that
page
note-
is gone. It's getting a little harder out here.
On that note, man, let's get the fuck out of here. Toronto Talks is always it's a blast. We done. We love it. We'll be back next week.
And fuck
Shout out to Mike
Facebook.
Gutz. Shout out to Specs. Shout out to number 1 Chief
Hey,
Rocker.
guess
number
what?
1 Chief
Guess
Rocker.
what?
The 1 Chief Rocker.
We got through a whole
out of this
episode without
motherfucker.
talking about Drake.
You had to fucking ruin it.
You're
We
a
out.
jerk.
This guy had to ruin it. We done, man. Fuck this shit.